Trump is such a jerk. He threatened to attack Panama. Trump just kicked China out of Panama, so they have no influence now. Trump just illegally took Maduro out of Venezuela. We control all of Venezuela's oil now, and we've completely kicked China out of the Western Hemisphere. Trump is just like Hitler. He's threatening to invade Greenland. Greenland just made a deal with us, and we're working great together now. Trump is so stupid. He just attacked Iran, and we can't win that war. And if they shut down the Strait of Hormuz, the world's going to run out of energy anyway. Everyone's sending their oil tankers to America to buy American energy now. We've officially become the #1 energy provider of the world. How does he keep doing this?
It helps tremendously, honestly. So I'm super grateful for it.
Being in a tips-based industry, you know, having something that allows for more consistency and gives me a little more breathing room when it comes to rent, gas, food, all that. I mean, it is a benefit.
How much of your livelihood, your business, is dependent upon tips?
Everything.
What is the impact to you of the no tax on tips policy this year?
It's been amazing.
Leaders from the Small Business Administration made the trip up to Baltimore today, highlighting the efforts of Jimmy's Famous Seafood.
That's right. SBA Administrator Kelly Loeffler applauded Jimmy's ability to thrive and impact the community. But Loeffler also got political, calling Maryland a difficult environment for businesses.
The blue states are going in the completely different direction, taxing their residents more, regulating them more, making energy harder to get, making their health care more costly. And so I think it comes down to making sure that you're doing things to reward your citizens' hard work, not punishing it.
Fox 45's Jeff Abel attended tonight's event at Jimmy's.
He joins us live now with Loeffler's criticism of Maryland's economic policies. Jeff.
Well, with some of the highest business taxes in the country, Maryland was recently named the second worst state in the country to start a business. Well, today, a Washington official came to Baltimore vowing to help change course.
Hello, gentlemen. How are you?
At Jimmy's Seafood today, the country's small business administrator brought a message of relief to so many business owners in despair.
Who likes no tax on tips?
Administrator Kelly Loeffler came here on this tax day to discuss changes in the tax code, including tips, which are no longer taxed.
It comes down to making sure that you're doing things to reward your citizens' hard work, not punishing it.
It's part of a string of tax cuts for working families, which Loeffler insists is far overdue.
For small businesses getting crushed by regulations, and now we're getting back to rebuilding our main streets. They're going to have more take-home pay throughout the year. They're going to count on continued low tax rates next year. Depreciation, 100% expensing for small businesses on all their purchases for years to come.
Her message comes as many Maryland businesses struggle for survival. A national survey recently named Maryland the 46th most expensive state to operate a business.
When you put it all together, we're not in a great state economically or financially. And I'll tell you something, Jeff, the worst is in front of us. It's not behind us. It gets tougher from this point forward.
Economist Anabon Basu blames Maryland's high business tax and few incentives for the state's failure to attract new businesses.
We have to rebuild the state's economy, and that's going to require being competitive. And we're not competitive right now.
You're only as good as your team. So if you can't attract the right team to come in and work for you, it's going to be very hard to do anything, let alone grow.
Loeffler saluted this popular crab house, calling it a shining example of what small businesses should look like. And she vowed to help other businesses grow too.
It comes from a deeply ingrained sense of responsibility that small business owners bear on their shoulders, and making sure that we don't put more pressures on them than they already have.
Tax cuts and your deregulation. One of the other things here is the emergence, the American energy business,
Yes.
which has always been a leader, and which Trump is, from day one in the first term when I was there, he has fostered this great energy business. It will expand. We are the #1 energy power, and we're going to produce more oil, including, by the way, oil coming from South America. It's very important. More oil. The Asians, the Chinese are going to depend much more on the United States. I like that very much with the Xi meetings coming up. More tankers. We'll probably be able to build more tankers, suspend the Jones Act, hopefully. Keep the deregulation going, keep the permitting going. We're exporting 5 million barrels a day. We'll probably have to export more, 6, 7, 8 million. But natural gas will play a big role in that. Nat gas is so important in this story because that's the ultimate clean burning fuel, and even the Europeans can take that.
You heard Scott Bessent. He stepped up to the microphone at the White House press briefing with Caroline Leavitt the other day, and he suggested that between, I believe it was June and August, we are going to be back to $3 a gallon gas. Do you see that as
Scott is a great friend.
Strong possibility?
He's a very smart fellow. It's a very strong possibility. I think he said we'd have a $3 handle on it. There's no reason why we can't. These things happen fast, and I think everybody is cooperating, and I think America is behind this whole. Like I say, Sandra, this is history.
The economy is going to be doing great as long as it gets the coverage it deserves. It gets the proper reporting. It's people are going to know the economy is doing great. And here at tax time, people should see the difference in their tax returns and know just already what a difference Trump has made.
Especially for those blue-collar workers and those who have hourly wages or salaries or rely on those tips. We talked to someone who's in the restaurants, $12 an hour. I don't think people realize that's why, especially in America, a 20% tip, of course, if they don't do that good of a job, that's up to you. But if they've done a great job, maybe 20% or more because they're relying on those tips.
Oh, yes. And the response I hear back from people that depend on those tips for their income, they're extremely excited about it. I think maybe they're the happiest ones. Right. But as a senior, I'm extremely happy with what's happened with the economy, too. Absolutely. And I just finished doing my taxes and turned out really great. So
Literally the most powerful man in the entire world and the best president that's ever walked on United States soil for what he's trying to do. And for somebody who does not have to do that, what he goes through on a daily basis, on a yearly basis. I was just talking about have the strength to see the people that are against him and don't like him for unfactual reasons, right? And it's like, this guy just loves America. I've known him for 25 years. He wants what's best for the people here, and even the people that are against him. And I think that's a noble quality to have.
And when Intel couldn't build more, right, because they were a dumpster fire. Right? When I walked in the door, they were a dumpster fire. Right? This $300, $200, $100 billion
Is the
company.
fire out? Are they not a dumpster fire now?
The fire's out. We gave them, right? We invested in them, right? In what was it? August?
They're not even a dumpster. They're doing good.
August?
It doesn't mean just that the
August, it was $20 a share. Right? Yesterday, it was $65 a share. It went from a $100 billion company, $300 billion company. We went from giving Intel $10 billion, the American taxpayer giving Intel $10 billion and getting nothing for it, to owning 450 million shares of their company, or 430 million shares of their company, worth $30 billion for the American taxpayer. It's a swing of $40 billion for the benefit of who? Of us, for our social security system, for our government. And that's a way of thinking that is basically, you put a businessman in the White House. You put a businessman as the Secretary of Commerce. You're going to make money using our economy.
Harris, President Trump is saying the United States will not give Iran $20 billion for them to fork over leftover uranium, despite an Axios report this morning suggesting that that is one of the United States' offers to Iran that they might make at peace talks in Pakistan. The president said the USA will get all nuclear dust created by our great B-2 bombers. No money will exchange hands in any way, shape, or form. And he's talking about this in Battleground, Nevada.
I will say the war in Iran is going along swimmingly. We can do whatever we want. And it should be ending pretty soon. It was perfect.
The freedom of maritime navigation, and Trump is proving that in spades right now.
Yeah, a reporter, Katie Sullivan, over at Bloomberg, spoke to the president today over the phone with the president. He said Iran has agreed to an unlimited suspension of its nuclear program and that the U.S. is not going to release any frozen Iranian funds. Larry Kudlow also making the point that this has to not be about what Iran says. This has to be about how they act, the actions on the part of Iran.
I was the hunted, and now I'm the hunter.
I absolutely love that. Absolutely love that. Oh my gosh, what a day. It's funny. I got a hit from a text from SV earlier this morning what time you're doing the show, because, oh my gosh, what a day. I can only hope that each one of you are enjoying the type of day that I've been enjoying. You know, it's so funny. I've been trying to tell everybody for quite some time, stop listening to the panicans, start charting your own way, make sure you understand where the puck is. Is that better? Okay, that's better. Hold on. There we go. It was on the wrong input. But anyway, I've been telling you to chart your own way. Understand where the puck is going. Understand what is available to you, the opportunities available to you, so you don't get cut short. And so by now, if you've watched this show, unlike some other shows, you know normally on Friday something is going to happen. I don't know why he picks Friday, maybe because the news people go off for the weekend, but I always look forward to Fridays. Fridays are the day I love to do one show because I have to spend the rest of the day in the morning going, oh, what's coming? What's happening? What's hitting? And today was one of those type of days. In fact, today is one of those days you have not seen in decades. Let me prove that to you. All right, so as I always look at the financial markets first and foremost, wanted to show you this. This is from obviously CNBC. S&P 500 closes above 7,100. NASDAQ posts its longest win streak. No misprint there. The longest win streak since 1992. I got married in 1993. I understand at this point, man, this is unbelievable. You have not seen this in 34 years. Of course, the Democrats are crying like, oh my God, what do we do? I told you there was nothing that was telling me that these people can win in November, except if they cheat or something. And they're going to try everything they can right now because they got nothing. It's just something else I've been telling you. As you're looking at this, I just showed you about the S&P above 7,100, NASDAQ longest win streak since 92, and the Dow is at 868 plus, teetering on 50,000 again. That's where we are. Then you can look at the other one. This is what's driving it, is that oil prices have plummeted, absolutely plummeted down to 83. Remember, I don't know, a week or two ago, it was at 120 and people were screaming, you're going to pay $7, $10 a gallon gas. Now, those same panicans, they bow in their heads. They don't know what to do. Everything they do, one of the problems that the panicans have is everything they do is on a today basis because they count on people not understanding what happens in the future and not understanding what happened in the past. If I can get you to click and listen to what I'm saying based on today, I'm going to put a hook in your mouth. Many of you my age remember growing up with the supermarket tabloid called the National Enquirer. Now, I want you to go, if you want to, you can go look up some information because I firmly believe some of these panicants, I shall not name them anymore. You know who they are. I think they are following the National Enquirer model. They know the stuff they're saying is fake. They know that the people watching it know it's fake, and yet they keep putting fake stuff out there. It was very, very profitable. Look it up. At one point, the National Enquirer had millions and millions of readers. It was easy. You walk by, oh, two-headed baby goes to Mars. And you'd pick it up, and you knew it was BS, but because you're waiting for them to ring everything up at the cash register, you still keep rating it. And some people actually took it home for whatever reason. It was entertainment. I hope many people didn't believe what was in the National Enquirer. They made a movie, Men in Black. Remember? They made a joke about the National Enquirer. He picks it up. Oh, this is the news for for crazy people. See, the problem with the National Enquirer is they made tens of millions of dollars per year. It was extremely profitable. And then they sold it for like $400 million. And so there's a huge market for nuts. It's very easy to throw stuff out there, and if they hear what they want to hear, or you play to their biases, they will just keep coming back like moths to the flame. They love it when you're giving them, frothing lips. Because even if they don't believe it, it gives them that confirmation bias dopamine hit. Oh, I hate Trump too. Oh yeah, keep telling me all this stuff. Oh, the orange man bad. Oh, Trump doesn't know what he's doing. Oh yeah, that's how I feel. And you're mainlining some dopamine. And so you just keep that, and they just keep coming back, and they just keep lapping it up. But now we're getting to a point. We're getting to a point in America where it's going to be very hard to continue that. Because how many times can this man be right? How many times can Scott Bessent be right? How many times can Kevin Hassett and Howard Lutnick? How many times can they be right? Before a prudent person, is this really happening? Am I really seeing this? Am I really seeing silver do that? 81? Am I really seeing gold do that? Am I really seeing this time and time again? Oh, he was right. He said this was going to happen. He said it'll take about 4 to 6 weeks. Well, February 28th it started, and right now it's April 16th. That's right at about 6 weeks. So you can complain, and you can lie, and you can cheer up the nuts, and you can turn your back on Trump because, man, I can make a crap load of money right now. I can cater to these crazies who are going to keep clicking every time. Okay, wait, Trump sucks, Trump sucks. Until you have to look in the mirror and go, he beat me again. It takes a lot of intestinal fortitude to keep going down that road, knowing that the people you're talking to can easily see, if they want to, the truth. The Bible says the truth shall set you free. For some people, it'll set you free. It'll only set you free, like anything else in the Bible, if you look for that freedom. If you want to wallow around in the mud and say Trump's the bad orange man and America sucks, and you don't care about the truth, then yeah, it's easy. You'll just keep doing it. You'll keep just wallowing. Almost every day, maybe sometimes twice a day, I keep telling you, plan and look at where the puck is headed. And then somebody emailed me the other day, Barry, how do I know where it's headed? Listen to him. Listen to what he says. It's one of the things that I think people have an issue with is, unlike most politicians, he calls the shots. And more often than not, he's been right. And I think the reason is because he surrounded himself with a bunch of people who aren't politicians. I can almost guarantee you Scott Bessent has his ear very tight. Here's what we need to do. This is how we're going to make it work. Meanwhile, they'll go ahead and cry about the millionaires and billionaires, but shouldn't we be encouraging more people to want to be millionaires? See, that's another problem that the Democrats are having, is that they are telling people that it's evil to be prosperous and wealthy. I'm sorry. When did we find out that success in any way, shape, or form is bad? We want our football team to be the best. We want our baseball team. We want our basketball team. If we want these little microcosms of society to be fantastic, even people who hate Trump like to see the Miami Dolphins do something, even though they suck. People want to see the Chicago Bears do something, even though it's in Chicago around a lot of Democrats. If you like and want certain things to be successful, how can you be abhorrent against other things being successful? I like the paradigm shift. I like to be able to ask people those kinds of questions. How can you root for a team staffed by 100 millionaires and hope for them to succeed, yet be pissed off at people who are trying to be successful and make money? I don't think one of these people who are Los Angeles Lakers fans would say, you know what, I wish LeBron would give up all his money. No, you'll never hear it because they can't put those two and two together. You're cheering for LeBron. He sucks. I hate him. But there are people in Los Angeles who just are drooling, actors, entertainers alike, who want him to succeed. Pay him whatever he needs. We don't care he's got billion. We don't care that Jay-Z and Beyonce are getting paid $1 billion. Get your money, girl. Did you just say that? Go get that cheddar. I thought cheddar was bad. I thought making money and succeeding was bad. The Democrats have somehow separated it. No, those people are okay to make some money. It's these people who we have a problem making money. I don't know how you separate that. I put up something on X today, which was, I found very profound. I love profundity. I put this up with my branded little baby face. If Democrats think it's a good idea to make people pay more in taxes to pay for their, quote, generous social programs, which is what Kathy Hochul called them, think we need them to pay for our generous social programs, then it must then be okay to pay a little bit more for gasoline for the biggest program ever. America, our democracy. And of course, I got some troll comments because I wanted people to think. And I want you to understand how you fight libtardery by looking at their hypocrisy. You want us to pay more, if I lived in New York, to pay for your generous social programs. But you're bitching because gas prices are a little bit too more expensive. And I won't say little. Gas prices are more expensive. They might be $1.50, depending on where you live. Because we're trying to make America, quote, great again. We're trying to make America better, wealthy, prosperous for everybody. That's not good, though. But you need to take it from other rich people so we can give it away, which is absolutely insane, which is completely hypocritical. How about showing little Shaniqua and her, 14 baby daddies what they can do to be more prosperous? The stuff that Trump is trying to promote, the stuff that I try to promote to every single one of you. And no, this isn't a commercial. I've been trying to show you this is what you need to do. I didn't make it up. Other people have done it and showed me. I told last night's show, I had a guy or woman get mad at me, and I said, we're not going to go to Washington on Monday because instead of doing that, Ashley is coming down. She's going to spend a couple of days with me, and I'm going to really immerse her into the real estate business. And I actually got her, that woman was pissed off. I'm like, wait a second. She called me hypocritical, and I'm like, no, it's just the opposite. I'm going to show my daughter how she can prosper even more. God forbid I'm not here one day. I want her to be able to talk to her husband and the kids and say, we're going to do this and do this and do this. No different than I tell you guys. And so I just hope that you guys can see at this point, it's easy for some of these nuts to scream about Trump. But he's been telling us this the entire time. He's been shooting his shot. And too many people haven't listened. So right now, I'm going to predict something. You guys can come back at me. But I know what the Democrats are doing now. They are going to go complete Costanza. And if you remember Seinfeld, one day Constanza found a beautiful woman and he did completely the opposite and he thought it was going to work. That's what they're going to do. They're going to go completely the opposite. People enjoyed getting no tax on tips. People enjoyed getting no tax on overtime. People enjoyed the deductions. People are enjoying CapEx. And what are the Democrats going to do? They're going to go completely different. They just want to cater to the people who want to take what you have. They want to convince people it's better for everybody to pay more taxes. I want to show you this tweet. This was pretty interesting to me. Ro Khanna put this out. And if you don't read it closely, you'll miss it. So listen to what he said. In that case, and he was referring to Elon Musk. Let me show you the thread so there's context here. All right. Elon Musk says universal high income via checks issued by the federal government is the best way to deal with unemployment caused by AI. AI and robotics will produce goods and services for far in excess of the increase in the money supply, so there will not be any inflation. So Elon's talking about the progress of technology and how it's going to make the country so prosperous that we'll be able to give universal high income to many people. It's a noble cause because of the AI. But being the little Democrat commie that he is, well, in that case, which has nothing to do with what Elon said, are you willing to pay a modest trillionaire and billionaire tax to pay for checks to working families? That's not what he said. But now he decided to chime in, and he said we could start with a modest $3,000 check that Bernie Sanders and I have proposed for families under $150,000 a year in income. And I drew a look. I wanted people to look at what he actually said, and it's this word right there, start with. The Democrats never do anything to solve a problem. They do things to perpetuate a problem. It's going to keep going. That's why they never can define fair share. Because if I define fair share and you pay it, then I can't come back to you. Paid my fair share, done. I got no more I got to pay. Fair share. Like I said yesterday, define working class, because everybody I know, I look on television, they're all working. LeBron James is working. He's in a working class. Jay-Z, Beyonce, Springsteen, they're all in a working class. So define working class, define fair share. You have these funny terms that you like to use, these catch-all phrases that don't mean anything. Except this time, you let the mask fall off your face. You said we could start with a modest $3,000 check. The hell do you mean? See, he's putting in the ability to keep going at the same time. It doesn't say we will have a $3,000 check. We think this would be sufficient. No, we'll start there. Meaning their plans are just to continue and continue taking from you. There is no end to it. They cannot exist. This entire party and their ideology cannot exist except to continue to dip into your pocket. Meanwhile, President Trump is doing just the opposite. I want to find ways so you don't have to pay the government. The contrast could never be clearer, and this time it looks like the Democrats are embracing it. They're saying, all right, you got us. We're just going to go full bore. We're going to tax the hell out of you and make you like it. And we're going to tax you some more after that. And then we're going to tax your family. And then we're going to tax your dog. Because, the first one, we just started there. We just want to start there. Watch in the coming weeks as you see more and more Democrats taking the complete opposite perspective of everything you've seen during tax week. President Trump, no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, capital expenditures, no tax. I mean, all kinds of things to try and make life better for the working class. Meanwhile, they just give us some more. We're going to start there. I saw a great video today. A young black man in New York City. I didn't have time to download it. And he was so relevant in terms of what he said. Because what he said was the entire thing that Kathy Hochul and Zoran the Great are doing in New York is just a tip of the iceberg. It cannot fund New York. Even if you tax all the all the rich people, and you take their money and everything else, they said themselves it's only going to raise 500 million or whatever it was. New York's shortfall is 4 or 5 billion. Where are you going to get the other 3.8 to $4 billion? There's only one answer for that, is because you're going to get it from taking from lower income people. You don't have a choice. It's where they start, as Ro Khanna said. This is their starting point. Then that's when we really get together and stick it to you. Let me see if I can find this guy's video in here. I don't know if I can. Oh, here it is. Let me see if it's downloadable, and you can. Oh yeah, here it is. I love it. I mean, I could not believe. I should have had this video ready. I want you to hear this. This is from a young black man in New York City. You ready for this? You'll love it. Hope the volume is good on it. And let's see here. Okay.
Y'all keep hearing Mom Domney and Hochul say,
when I ran for mayor, I said I was going to tax the rich. I'm thrilled to announce we've secured a pied-à-terre tax.
Pied-à-terre surcharge.
This is an annual fee on luxury properties worth more than $5
million.
This tax will raise at least $500 million. Everyone has a role to play in contributing to our city.
They're contributing in a meaningful way.
Same script, tax the wealthy, right? So let's break it down. Right now, New York got a $5.4 billion budget gap. And the big solution, tax the wealthy luxury second home. Sounds tough, sound bold until you hear the number. That tax only brings in $500 million. Let me say that again. 5.4 billion gap, 500 million in revenue. That's not even close. That's not a solution. That's a PR move. So now ask yourself, where's the other 4.9 billion coming from? Because it's not magic. It's going to come from somewhere, and it's not going to be the people with $25 million homes. Because once again, they are only estimating
$500 million.
So you know where the rest go come from. You, higher property taxes. You, more fees. You, more meters. You, estate taxes. You, more everyday costs. You, then they sell you tax the rich. Then quietly tax the middle. You, that's not closing the gap. That's shifting the burden. Mom Domney and Hochul took the path of least resistance on the wealthy. And if you're not paying attention, you're going to be paying for it. So don't be fooled. Mom Domney nor Hochul will have the same empathy or sympathy for you like they do the wealthy. Remember, Mom Domney said,
well, today, we're taxing the rich.
So he kept his promise. He taxed the rich, but we all see it's not enough. The middle and working class of this city is next. And you know who that is. You, mark my word.
Loved it. I could not believe, where'd you come from? I loved everything about that. I loved the fact that it's a black man telling other black people, oh, don't go for this stuff. Don't go for this Trojan horse with the big smile. Don't do it. Like Ro Khanna said, that's a start. You just letting us in the building. You let us in the building, then we can go ahead and do what else we need to do. We're going to make it sound so nice. Oh, let's tax the rich, eat the rich. But there's not enough rich. What are you going to do with the rest? For these socially generous programs? Oh, we got to take it from you. What do you want? What do you expect? We couldn't do it just with the 500 million from the rich people. They left. They picked up. They pulled up stakes and went. You can't do that. So you're the ones we got to take from. And that to me is where we're headed in November. And I don't see there's any possible way that, given what I think this man Trump has got planned, we can lose. Everybody today has been waiting for a Supreme Court decision that was supposed to come out, and this was about some sort of redistricting or something. I don't think that's dropped yet. SB, let me, if that comes out. But I'm not sure if when that comes out, that's going to be another problem. And there's going to be another problem because there's more and more stuff. At this point, you have to think President Trump is probably feeling really good. I bet he's going to come out and do as much dancing as he possibly can tonight. I think there's a victory lap in that he's going to have to take on stage. I think he knew when he scheduled this event what was going to happen today. The man is holding all the cards right now. Iran doesn't have any. England and France, they don't have any. Right now, they're chasing his heels. Mr. Trump, please, can we play? Go on, get out of here. I don't need you. Now, unleash him. Now let's see what the Western Hemisphere is going to be like. Now find out what Cuba's thinking. Oh, you were rattling your saber today too, Mr. Cuba, talking about our military will stand up to him. Iran couldn't stand up to him. They have, they used to have an Air Force. They used to have a Navy. You ain't got one of those. You don't have a Navy. You don't have an Air Force. And you definitely don't have anything nuclear. And you don't have gas. And you don't have food. And you don't have electricity. You can't be rattling your saber if he decides to push a button on Cuba. And it's coming. It's most assuredly coming. One of the things I want you to just keep in the back of your mind is, what in the heck are the Avengers doing? It's been eerily quiet. We haven't heard, and there hasn't been a peep from Marco Rubio or Kristi Noem or Nayib Bukele, all these people who are part of the Shield of America. Don't sleep on that. Make sure, because the media is not talking about it, make sure you're keeping up with the Shield of America, because something is brewing with those people. And then I saw today, for the first time in a long time, Stephen Miller got on Air Force One. There is so much stuff happening behind the scenes at this point that we don't know about, that the panicans have no clue. They've completely lost all credibility. The idiot that was talking about how it's World War V right now, they're done. Don't give them any, well, you do whatever you want. I ain't giving them any airtime. That's all I got to say. Where's SB? You around? You there? Hey, what's up, man?
Hey, did you know what stock just soared today on the market?
What?
Liberal copium. It went up 5,000%.
Oh my gosh! If I were them, today would be a good day to take a long weekend.
Oh my gosh!
So I'm gonna take a break and get a sip of a drink here, my tea, because oh my gosh, I have so many things. We got enough time. It's 4:30. I have so many things to show everybody. President Trump got up early and he went on a complete tear. I mean, it's amazing. So don't give up the Trump stuff. So if you got
no, I do have something, because you always say there are no coincidences. So it's kind of short. Remember now, one of the things that Trump told CBS News was Iran will permanently stop enriching the uranium.
Mm-hmm.
So Clandestine talked about it, says, what happens if we find out that Iran obtained U.S. uranium via Uranium One? He says, Trump has been telling us the entire time that Obama admin and Clinton Foundation are responsible for Iran's nuclear program. With his hands on the uranium, they can actually track it. Mm-hmm. Trump will be able to prove it. That's going to be a major, major, major story.
I saw that by Clandestine. He had put up a clip from a movie. What movie? Oh, it was, oh boy. This is too much. This is too.
Okay.
It's Sum of All Fears. It's Sum of All Fears. Oh my gosh! I just got goob with what you just said. The Sum of All Fears. When they try, I don't know if you guys have seen the movie. We've showed it a couple times. When they went to go blow up the president, and they were able to look at the nuclear footprint, the uranium footprint, they found out where it came from. Oh my gosh. Talk about
our technology is a lot better than it was in the 1990s. I grokked it. They said that it's not infallible, but it's getting very accurate. So when they get that uranium, they'll know what country provided it.
Oh my
gosh. Russia or China, or if it's our imagine it was our country.
Oh my gosh.
Deep state kind of crap.
Yeah, I'm gonna actually show that to everybody so they can see it because I was trying to figure out in my mind what movie was that from. Then I just realized it was The Sum of
Great
All
movie.
Fears.
Yeah.
Again, no coincidences. That is here. Hold on, everybody. Let me show this to you. This is what SB was just talking about. Reminder. Through nuclear forensics, radioactive material can be traced to the origin down to the exact site it was mined from, meaning that once Trump gets his handle on the uranium dust, we would be able to determine exactly who supplied Iran with uranium. It could be important. And right here, the clip that they're showing is from The Sum of All Fears when Ben Affleck finds out where that uranium came from. So, oh my gosh.
Bingo. Yeah.
That is truly Nessun Dorma type stuff.
Stay tuned. Stay tuned,
Oh,
Fanfare
man.
family.
Yeah,
More
there
to
is.
come.
Wow.
I thought
All
you'd like
right.
that.
So, I mean, crazy, absolutely crazy. What else you got?
I'll keep monitoring. For the story you're asking me about. If I see anything else, I'll text you. But all the stuff right now is that Trump's getting. He's basically arrived. He's going to be at the TPUSA event shortly. So I'll let you know when I see he's actually coming in.
Yep. I
But
mean,
if anything
I've
else
got
pops up,
I've got the feed up. Sometimes though, it takes a second, the delay of which feed, but
yeah.
let me roll credits and then we'll come back. Let me know, SV, if I see Steve Bannon is trending. I wonder why. But anyway,
okay.
I'll be back at you guys in a second.
Keep on.
One man is being victimized by our own government. One man whom they fear, yet whom millions love. One man who is willing to take the poison arrows of lawfare. One man whose voice has been taken away by a corrupt judge operating in a corrupt system. One man who has been ridiculed and insulted. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who stands between us and them. One man that wants to see America protected again. One man who wants to see America prosper again. One man who understands that a man is a man and a woman is a woman. One man who understands and protects the blessing of life. One man who wants to restore American exceptionalism. One man who once again wants to make America that shining city on a hill for all to see. A place where all the people of the world glowingly set their eyes upon. America. One man who unashamedly wants to make America great again. That one man is Donald Trump.
This is Fanfare.
I just can't. I mean, I know it's Friday. I don't have my uniform on. I'm here with a t-shirt. It's a bearskin t-shirt. But it cracks me up. SB just sent me. I told you guys that Steve Bannon was trending. So SB looked it up. You're gonna have to say it because I won't be able to get through it.
He's trending today primarily due to a viral meme claiming he pissed himself during a live appearance at the Semaphore World Economy Summit in Washington, D.C. on April 16th. So Pee Pants Bannon is trending right now. That's not what I expected. I didn't expect that.
Oh my gosh.
That is funny though.
And I'm not going to put it up because
No.
but the other guy who got sued for Sandy Hook, that guy.
Oh yeah. What are you talking about?
He made a video screaming. Somebody summarized it. He said that evidence is overwhelming that President Trump is committing political suicide and he's already made a deal to savage the midterms. And America is now under the control of a foreign government. Everybody needs to fly their flags upside down because our nation is in distress.
Hey Barry, is he one of the guys that hit himself in the head with a hammer to that?
I just can't.
You can't.
At some point, you have to say to yourself, you know what? He beat me. I can't contend with him, and let me just move on to talking about something else. But I'm looking at the number. It's like 250,000 people have seen it. 3,000 people like it. They're feeding it. They keep feeding the monkey. Oh gosh. All right. So let me get into what Trump had to say this morning. All right. Thank you.
See you soon.
I was not expecting that. I can't. I just can't with these people. All right. So I told you that President Trump early this morning started. So I'm going to take you while we're waiting for him to come into the arena. Got all the feeds up and everything. The feed hasn't gone live yet. I assume it would be going live any time now. But I want to take you through some of the things he said this morning, and I'm going to do it chronologically. And it's a lot. It's a whole lot. So we're going to have to spend a little bit of time on it. So the first one was this. The first one at 8:12 a.m. It's easy. Tucker is a low IQ person, always easy to beat and highly overrated. So are Megyn, Candace, really dumb and mentally ill, bankrupt Alex Jones, who's completely fried. There are others also. Then we have some that are very good, true MAGA all the way, and smart. I should do a list of the good, bad, and somewhere in the middle. Wouldn't that be fascinating? Do it. Do it. Please put out there the good, the bad, and the ugly. And understand, be honest, talk to your family, because I've talked to a few of them. Laura was on here. Go ahead and put up a list. Put the list up of the good, bad, and ugly. Let everybody know who they should be seeing, who they should be talking to, and who they should avoid at all costs. And that was at 8:12 this morning that he put this up. Please make the list. There it is, 8:12 a.m. So you can see it. Make that list. He was responding to an article on Mediaite that said he is crushing Tucker Carlson. CNN data guru reveals Trump has ruined his old friend. And then he was responding, yeah, that's because it's easy. Low IQ. Totally bankrupt Alex Jones, completely fried. He's feeling his oats this morning. All right, so let's move to the second one. This was the second one he put out at 8:26 a.m. The USA is the, quote, hottest country in the world right now. Just a short time ago, under sleepy Joe Biden, it was dead. Laughed at all over the world, but not anymore. Nobody's laughing. The left is trying to laugh, but they're just, it's one of those crying on the inside type of clown fare they got going on. They realize at this point they're in big, big trouble with everything that President Trump is doing. That was at 8:26 a.m., followed up by this one. Iran has just announced, and this was at 9:06, Iran has just announced that the Strait of Iran is fully open and ready for full passage. Thank you. I want to bring you back to yesterday. I want to bring you to, if you saw it last night, where Pete Hegseth was giving a speech with General Raising Cane and the leader of the CENTCOM. And one of the things he told the press, besides spanking the press really bad, is he said he wanted to give Iran, quote, the Golden Bridge. And it struck me because I've read so much about Sun Tzu that I was like, that's Sun Tzu. He is quoting Sun Tzu. And in Sun Tzu, the golden bridge is when you beat your opponent to a pulp, basically, when they have nothing else that they can do to you, give them the golden bridge for them to save a little face. And he said it last night, and I highlighted it to you. And if you haven't looked, go look up Golden Bridge Sun Tzu and see it for yourself. And it's all about just giving your adversary a almost like, a white flag, but I'm not going to pound you into submission. It's tap it out. Let him save face. Don't break the arm. Let him tap out. And he said that in his speech. And it struck me when he said it, and it said, Golden Bridge. We want to give Iran the Golden Bridge. And now you know what that Golden Bridge was. It was to allow them to save face. What exactly did they save face? Iran has announced that the Strait of Iran is Strait of Hormuz, he said Iran, is fully open and ready for full passage. If you're reading that, you've seen what has happened, Iran couldn't have announced anything. They weren't in control. There was a full blockade. They don't control Navy ships. So in order for them to announce that the strait is now open, they basically got the Golden Bridge. Can we tell everybody we opened it? Yeah, I don't really care. Go ahead, do it. We're still going to keep them parked here, which President Trump said also. We're not moving, but we'll let you go ahead and say it. We'll give you the Golden Bridge. Tell the world you opened the Strait of Hormuz, or as he's calling it, the Strait of Iran. As SV said, and I've said many times, there are no coincidences. That's what Pete Hegseth said during his press conference. We want to give Iran a Golden Bridge, and they ran right across it. They ran headfast into it. Yeah, we announced, hey, hello. We are announcing that we are opening the Strait of Hormuz. Prudent people who have minds must have thought to themselves, how in the hell did you do that? How did you move those big aircraft carriers and destroyers out of the way? How did you get them to back off? You didn't. I saw Ann Coulter say something stupid about, they went. You that much of an idiot? Are you that in need and thirsty of clicks to believe that Iran opened the Strait of Hormuz or Strait of Iran? I mean, that's a sleight of hand there. I don't know why he called it Strait of Iran. But in any event, does anybody in this chat actually believe Iran opened the strait? And if you believe that, then you need to tell everybody that you just told you believe that, how it happened. How did they make the big ships go in reverse? How did they make those big aircraft carriers and everything else move open and let things in? It wasn't possible. It was a Golden Bridge. And you can look that up. Golden Bridge, Sun Tzu. Then he continued. This one was at 9:27. The Strait of Hormuz is completely open and ready for business and full passage, but the naval blockade will remain in force and effect as it pertains to Iran, only until such time as our transaction with Iran is 100% complete. This process should go very quickly, and that most of the points are already negotiated. Thank you for your attention to this matter. You may not have heard that part on the news. Like, wait. It's open except for these guys. And we ain't going nowhere. Our big boats are going to stay right there because if anything happens, we're going to shut it down. And they can't stop us. But yeah, they fully opened it. It was Iran who fully opened the Strait of Hormuz. Next up, the USA, and this is at 9:57. So he's pumping these out sequentially, just keeps hitting them. The USA will get an all-nuclear dust created by our great B-2 bombers. No money will exchange hands in any way, shape, or form. I want to stop there because immediately the lying media, I don't know where the story came from. Trump's going to give Iran $20 gazillion. These people are insufferable. So he had to come out and say, no, they're not getting it. This deal is in no way subject to Lebanon either, but the USA will separately work with Lebanon and deal with the Hezbollah situation in an appropriate manner. Now, this is very important, because of Alex and all these people who said that we're being run by a foreign government. Okay, listen what he says here. Israel will not be bombing Lebanon any longer. They are prohibited from doing so by the United States. Uh-oh, that sounds like a flip in a script. If we were being led around by Israel, your president just said, nope, they can't do any more bombing. They are prohibited by us. Enough is enough. Thank you, President Donald J. Trump. There are so many people out there. Like I said, I don't know if they're thirsty for clicks, if they're thirsty for views, whatever they need to do to get people to click and lie. Because the only thing they can do is say, well, my sources tell me. Well, who are your sources? My source is Donald J. Trump. My source is directly from the president, who's being completely, as far as we know, and no reason to doubt him, transparent. Who's yours that is telling you otherwise? Who do you know that's in the inner circle in there with Stephen Miller and Pete Hegseth and Scott Besson and Kevin Hassett? Who do you know in that room that's going to tell you otherwise? Well, you're full of crap. You're absolutely full of crap. So let's go to the next one here. Now that this was at 10:13. Now that the Hormuz Strait, notice he's called it like 3 different names, situation is over, I received a call from NATO asking if we would need some help. Okay, let me just paraphrase the rest of this. I told them to pound sand. I told them to stay away unless they just want to load up their ships with oil. They were useless when needed, a paper tiger. So he's called NATO. NATO at this point has to be wondering, what do we do? We need United States money. We need the United States power. And President Trump is basically giving us the middle finger and telling us to bugger off. All you NATO countries, don't need you, don't want you. They just lost the biggest asset that they had to help protect them from other bigger fish out there. They don't know. They don't even understand. I had an Army buddy send me a video today, and that video is quite, how can I say this, raw. And I said, maybe I could put it on. Nah, it would offend too many of you, because like every other word's an F-bomb from these SEALs. And it was very interesting what the SEALs, when they were talking on this podcast, were saying. They were saying that people who saw what we did with Maduro were completely envious. There's no other country in the world who could have done what we did with Maduro. And he goes, so the message that was sent to all of these countries, Cuba, no big deal, China, no big deal, is that if we want you, we can come for you. See, the media doesn't want to talk like that because they don't want people to understand. But the message from listening to these guys is that the other countries went, oh man, they got it like that? Yeah. If they want you, they're going to come get you. And that was very interesting. I'll post it on X because then you can choose to listen to it as you like. What was very interesting is what he said next. He said, the reason why Russia, China, Iran put so much money into our media and into our politicians is because they force us to go by the rule of public opinion. And I thought to myself, wow, I never even thought it that way. The reason why this country is not just out there doing whatever they want is because we have people who try to say it's emotional. We shouldn't do this. We shouldn't do that. And he's like, when I was in, where was he? The guy was talking. He goes, when I was in Fallujah and we had rules of engagement. And he goes, that was the most idiotic thing. We're in a country where the opponent has no rules of engagement. that'll smile in your face and walk over to a bush and pull out a rocket, and you know the rocket is there. But your rules of engagement, because we're a nice country, is you have to wait until they either shoot or pull out the rocket. I know what they're going to do. They don't have the same boundaries that we have because we are now caged because of it. He goes, we would do traffic stops. And we had to say certain thing. Hey, do you have your ID, sir? And where you going, sir? And just because, and knowing that that person's like, hey, I'm going to kill you. Or blow up the car right there. Where they could have just taken the car out without putting anybody at risk. And the sad thing is, you wouldn't expect who it would be. It could be a woman. It could be a child. And it's only because of our media that spurs and does everything with emotion. When they show the things about, oh, some kids got killed in a school, understand the other country doesn't care. Iran doesn't care that 18, 20, 50 kids got killed. They don't care. We have to care because our media beats us up. President Trump is about to take some questions, it looks like, so let me put this on.
Good. We've had some very good discussions, and hopefully that subject that you like to talk about would be very good, and we've done a good job, but we'll see. Talks are going on. It'll go on over the weekend, and a lot of good things are happening. And that includes Lebanon, too.
There's been reporting today that there's still, Iran says there's significant differences.
Well, there could be. Let's see what happens. If there are, we'll have to straighten it out, but I don't think there's too many significant differences.
On the blockade, Mr. President, what will it take to end the blockade?
When the agreement is signed, the blockade ends. As soon as the agreement gets signed, that's when the blockade ends.
Did Anthropic have a meeting at the White House?
Who?
Sir, Anthropic?
I have no idea.
On Cuba, Mr. President, is Cuba next?
Okay, just a quick couple of words there.
Okay, so he took two questions. I thought he was going to take more than that. Maybe they pissed him off. Not really sure. Not really sure what that was all about. But anyway, he's on the ground in Arizona, heading to the venue now after two quick questions. That was it. And he moved on. So anyway, I'll post that video on X, and you can see as the guys talking, and they're going back and forth, these SEALs, and they're pretty much just saying, we are inhibited because of the way things are run here. Whereas in other countries, their governments are ruthless. They don't care who dies if they have to do whatever they have to do. Now, I understand some of you guys may say, you know what, Barry, that's not a bad thing. It allows us to be more human. But as I was listening to these guys talk, I don't know if in the field, or as they say, the fog of war, having never been there, how human I ever would be. See, it's very easy for people here to say that. Oh, you got to be more, compassionate. Yet, if put yourself, and you're out there in Fallujah, and you're walking around, and every single person just about that you see wants you dead, and has the capacity to make you dead, and will do whatever it takes to try and effect that. How compassionate would you be at that point? I know I'd probably be like the guy from Vietnam who got arrested because I'd be shooting the dogs. I just wouldn't have that mentality. Because if I know everybody there wants me dead, that could be crazy. All right, let's continue. So that was about the ships and everything. Next one. This was at 10:16. It says, thank you to Saudi Arabia, UAE, and Qatar for your great bravery and help, President Donald J. Trump. Interesting. You wonder why that was. Why did he put that there? Which one am I on? Next one. Iran, with the help, and this was at 10:20, Iran, with the help of the USA, has removed or is removing all the sea mines. Thank you, President Trump. You remember the mines where they said they couldn't locate them? Looks like, I guess they found a way to find out where those mines are, after all. Next one at 10:27. Again, this deal is not tied in any way to Lebanon, but we will make Lebanon great again. Very interesting on that one. Then he followed that one up with this one a couple of minutes later. Thank you to Pakistan and the great Prime Minister and Field Marshal, two fantastic people, President Donald J. Trump. Have you noticed how the media kept saying that President Trump didn't have any plans, didn't have any allies, didn't have anybody working with him? And over those last couple posts, you saw UAE, it's not the usual suspects. It wasn't, the Spains, the Italys, the France, the England. Our allies have now shifted. Our allies are now Saudi Arabia, UAE, Qatar, Pakistan. And the other people, the traditional allies, NATO, has completely abdicated and they're not working with us. And now I guess Sturmer and they're all, hey, Macron, we'll come over and help now. No, don't need you. Now we really don't need you. He exposed NATO to the American public, just like he exposed the Panicans, just like he exposed the media. He exposed the United Nations. He exposed NATO. These are all things that in some way, shape, or form, the Democrats and, the media have probably been involved in some sort of funding arrangement. They needed to keep President Trump and America feeling a certain way. How many times over the years have you said, these are our allies? We can't turn our back on our allies. Now, how do you feel about that? How do you feel cutting a check to these people who basically told you got to go do it yourself, and they weren't going to help him? Then I got this one. This was at 10:30, a couple hours in. Great and brilliant day for the world. Didn't say America. A great and brilliant day for the world. So now he's getting ready to go to China in a few weeks. This thing will pretty much stop in terms of what's going on with Iran. And just sit back and understand right now, it's April. I just want you to pump the brakes and think to yourself, wait a second, so much happens. So much keeps happening. And we got this, and it's April. And so when people say he doesn't have a plan, you've been watching it play out. It's been methodical. It's been completely chapter by chapter. We're going to do this, then we're going to do this, and then we're going to do this. The problem the press has, and the Democrats, and Panicans, and Black Pillars, and us, is we don't know what the plans are. They're used to everybody just basically leaking it. We don't know what's going to come next. And that was one of the reasons I got in, a little kerfluffle with that pollster. I'm like, how can you take a poll when you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow? You're using polling data like you were talking to the previous 20 administrations, including the past Trump administration. Now you're taking polls on stuff that tomorrow things are going to change. And they do. It's April 17th. On April 14th, we didn't know, and people who started getting their refunds didn't know, like, how much did I get? $12,000. Oh. And how do you defend that if you're a Democrat? Send it back. I don't think so. How do you tell other Democrats that the money they got in their direct deposit, they shouldn't have? Has it not been kind of eerie that through the last couple of days, as you're going on X or Facebook, are you seeing anybody complaining about getting the money? Anybody say, well, you know what? I just got $5,000 refund. I'm just going to send it back. Please put in the chat if somebody sent the money back. Because again, and I said this for quite some time, the policies and what he's putting in place benefit the same people that hate him. And while we cheer it and we love it, they hate it, but they're not giving it back. there will be very few far between the people who either rip up the check or, give the deposit back to the Treasury Department. Please give me a comment if you gave the money back. Somebody should do a show just like that. We're going to bring in these people, do a focus group. These are the people who got money from Trump and then decided to give it back. Won't be anybody in that audience, CNN. That show will never air. MSNBC, you'll never see that show. So you have to wonder. These are things that you can begin telling people and going, I know you for a while. You've been complaining about Trump. You've been complaining about everything he does. What'd you do with your refund? I had a relative who was, kind of lukewarm on Trump. And I struggled, like, can we ask her? No, Rob's like, don't ask her. Like, we got to find out. Because they're not telling us. They're not saying, I got an extra $5,000-6,000, but how'd you get it? Ask your coworkers, ask your family, ask your friends. Hey, you don't even have to get political. Hey, how's your tax refund? Yo, man, I got an extra $2,500 this year. I wasn't expecting that. Really? How do you think that happened? And watch them go into contortions because they can't answer you. Imagine your worst enemy, somebody you hate the best, does something for you and your family. How hard is it to continue hating that person? Oh, I'll hate you tomorrow. I can't hate you today. So what you're seeing is a systematic destruction of the Democrat Party, because that is one serious mind F. When you hate this man and you look at your bank account, oh, he was right, huh? Yeah. You guys all told me it wouldn't happen. Huh? It happened. But I don't want mine if Shaniqua can't get a new pair of sneakers or something. She can't get her SNAP benefits. Said nobody ever. Let's continue, shall we? He said, Iran has agreed to never close the Strait Hormuz again. It will no longer be used as a weapon against the world, President Donald J. Trump. So as you're reading that, never, ever is something that you can never know. You don't know if somebody who punched you in the face won't punch you in the face again or key your car again. How do you know this person will never do it again? Especially when you're out of office in a couple of years. Well, I think you're about to see a Japanese-style agreement. You notice in 1941, here we are 80-something years later, Japan hadn't said nothing. They don't throw no more rocks and shoot no more guns or bombs, do they? There was an agreement in place that said, we'll take your unconditional surrender. We'll make sure it never happens again. And how do we know it never happens again? Go ahead. In the chat, how did we know when they were on that battleship signing that surrender agreement that Japan would never, ever, ever, ever be a problem ever again? Because we went in and we protected them. You guys will not, no more. You're not going to do it anymore. We're going to have a deal. We're going to have different things. We'll have bases. We'll make sure, you're under, we got you. What do you think is going to happen in Iran? What do you think that whole guy, how could you declare never, ever again unless you knew for sure it really would be never, ever again? And I look back to the Japanese agreement. I could be wrong, but I don't think since 1941 we've seen any Japanese kamikaze pilots or anything. Nope. Pretty sure I go to sushi like 3 or 4 times a week. And I'm like, how you doing? How you doing, Mr. Cadet? Yeah, good. I watching you make the sushi. Don't do nothing. But no, we don't do that. We don't have any problems with Japan or Japanese people. There's nobody being interned. Their businesses are profitable. Their country is prosperous. For 80 years, we've never had to worry about Japan being an enemy. That's how never takes place. It's the only way never can take place, is to make sure there's some sort of treaty or agreement that future presidents can't F up. So that's got to be part of what he just said, what they signed. All right, and the last one he did this morning, he went after the New York Times. The failing New York Times, fake news, CNN, and others just don't know what to do. They are desperately looking for a reason to criticize President Trump on the Iranian situation, but just can't find it. Why don't they just say, at the right time, job well done, and start to gain back their credibility? Because they can't. There's no way they possibly can. They were pot committed for quite a long time, and now there's no way back. And he's had two more posts since I put all those in line. One of them, man, he's been prolific today. One of these posts that he did was with, I can't see it. I don't know if it'll show up for you guys. This is from Franklin Graham. Yeah. And it says, dear Mr. President, I just want to encourage you today. You are doing the right thing. Other presidents have just kicked the can down the road for not too long and not made the hard decisions. You are making the world a safer place. Thank you for giving the people of Iran the opportunity for freedom. I am praying that God will guide your heart and direct your every step. And that's from Franklin Graham. Notice the date, March 2nd. Couple days after the Iranian stuff happened, and President Trump held on to that and just posted it today. In fact, he just posted it at 3:24 p.m. And the most recent one, let's go back and get the most recent one, like 30 minutes ago. It says, it's a little bit of a long one. It says, later today, I will be speaking to a big crowd for Turning Point USA in the great state of Arizona. Then flying back to the White House, and therefore will not be at Mar-a-Lago tonight for a very special event honoring our wonderful congressman from Texas, Doc Ronnie Jackson. He is a good friend, 100% MAGA, and one of the most talented medical doctors and politicians in our country. And he's talking about Ronnie Jackson and everything. But the reason why I think this is important, he planned on going to Mar-a-Lago to go to this special event for Dr. Jackson. But he's going directly back to the White House. So something's about to happen. I don't know if it's an agreement or more muscle flexing, something, maybe Lebanon, but you can now believe something is getting ready to happen because he's changing his plan. He's not going to Mar-a-Lago for the event. They're going to go from Arizona directly to the White House. I got through it all. All right. I'll be back in 90 seconds.
Welcome back to Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
All right, so it looks like they've got the feed up. There it is right there. And they're playing this music, but so I like that set. It looks like a red wall, actually. So soon President Trump shall be taking the stage. Right now he's 20 minutes late, but it is set up for him. So as soon as he walks out, we will definitely most assuredly cut to that right away. Just wanted to see something. Yeah, they got his two teleprompters up. That's him. So there's no other speaker coming up next. He will be the next speaker. SB, you got anything?
I have a minor story. It was up. Duffy put something. Sean Duffy posted earlier. This is pretty good news. Trump admin breaks U.S. record for hiring effort for air traffic controllers. In just 13 hours, 8,004 Americans applied to join our controller ranks. That's over 10 applications every minute. Even better, 7,252 applicants are qualified. This is now the fastest application pace in American history for air traffic controllers.
I wonder if they're going to do.
I did not know that.
I wonder if they'll do anything with TSA. I mean, I'd love to see them do something and bring in some more TSA people. That would be good. So they're
definitely doing a lot of. Well, they're doing a lot of recruiting in various aspects of the government. I post a lot of those links all the time about working for ICE and stuff. They're still doing that, where they're offering a lot of incentives to join, 50,000 plus if you're qualified. I mean, I would do if I were younger. Hell yeah.
Why not get all those benefits and everything? Absolutely, for sure. So while we're waiting for President Trump, I do have some content I want to show you. And as soon as he walks out, I will cut it, whatever it is, and come back to it. But you guys seem to like these segments.
No man should ever enter where we are going. Beware what lurks in the depths of the libtard zone.
And you just watched an entire city council in transparency try to take wages away from the very people who are part of an industry that has its ties to slavery. Nobody's hiding from that. I am boldly declaring that we need reparations in this city, and that's why I'm funding it.
We should I didn't know that restaurants in 2026 are tied to the slave. It's getting tired. It's getting tired with everything being racist and everything tied to slavery was in 1865. There ain't a single black person walking the planet that was a slave. Ergo, there's not a single black person walking the planet that needs reparations because somebody opened up a pizza restaurant. There are places in the South that you may find a restaurant that's been open 100 years. It might have had some slaves working on it. You might go into Alabama and find an old restaurant, but for the most part, I'm pretty sure walking through downtown Chicago, you're looking at restaurants that ain't been around for that long. And so just because Luigi decided he wanted to open up a pizzeria or two, he shouldn't have to be paying reparations for black people who still are leaning on the crutch of slavery. These are people who don't even read the history books to know what the hell slavery was. And yet we keep hearing again and again and again, we need reparations because the poor black people couldn't get anything done. You made your money on our backs. Luigi, you opened up the pizzeria, but it's because of me and my people that you can open a pizzeria. Isn't it tiring at this point? And all the cuts you're going to see today, I got today, 2026, where they're out there, and this truly is a libtardery, and it shows you they have nothing. They're going to just keep leaning on the fact that you need to give us more. We need reparations. We can't work with these people. They're on a completely different crazy wavelength of just taking whatever money you can possibly make and giving it to people who need the reparations, even though they didn't help Luigi even need the dough. Luigi's in there every night making the dough, making sure tomorrow he can make the pies. And there's somebody sitting at home going, it's not fair. It's not fair that Luigi's going to make money tomorrow. It's not fair that he took a risk and leased that space. And then he bought those ovens and he's hiring those people and those delivery people. It's not fair. I should be able to sit here at home and watch old Jay-Z, Beyonce music videos and get paid by Luigi. It's insulting. It's offensive. It's demeaning to people who actually work for a living. It's demeaning, insulting, and offensive to people who are actually slaves. I don't even think they understand that. When you're saying you want in 2026 reparations for something that happened 200 years ago, you're insulting every person that got hung. You're insulting every person who got tied to a stockade and got whipped. Because you think their pain is something you should profit off of. You should be ashamed of yourself. Either that or tie yourself to a stockade and let some of us whip the hell out of you. Then you can say, my back hurts. Like, oh, that hurt. Let me whip you. Let me make you sleep in the house outside with no running water and dirt. Let me take your sister. Then you'll have some reason to have some reparations. But right now, you need to just shut the F up.
We have a national divorce, right? We should probably have a national divorce. There should be the red states of America and the blue states of America, and we can run that experiment. We'll come check back in 100 years and see what's going on. And what everybody will find is what we already know, which is the blue states would have universal health care and free college and a living wage. They'd have much higher standard of living. Their GDP would be much higher. Their social freedom index would be through the roof. They'd be much more.
What the heck is a social freedom index? Anybody here in the chat know what a social freedom index might be? Ever heard of it? What's your score? And I don't know who this dude is, but the other question, I'm like, you mentioned universal health care and universal this and so, where are you getting the money? If you want to have this national divorce and you say the blue states are going to be fine because we're going to have all the, who's paying for it? Uh-oh, is he coming out? No, that's not him. Tell me that's not President Trump. Oh my God, what is this? Wait a second here. No, I'm sorry. It was somebody testing. Who is paying for all this? Who is going to be the working class, as you say, that is going to provide free health care, free this, free that, everything else, and increase your social whatever score? Who's going to do it? I don't know.
Democratic. They'd be much more peaceful and stable of a system. And then the red states would be a fucking catastrophe. Okay.
Sorry about that. I'm pretty sure if every single one of you crazy libtards decides to leave Florida, we'll be okay. I don't know where you're going to go, but I'm pretty sure we'll be okay. You see, none of us, well, most of us don't need universal health care and I don't know the other stuff that you said you're going to steal from us. We don't need it. You're leeches. You're taking from us. A catastrophe? It would be nirvana. It would be just a complete utopia. You think 20 million people moving to Florida now? Wait till you find out all the libtards left because, they think it's going to be better in Seattle. Well, if that's true, how come it's not better in Seattle right now? How come it's not better in Portland right now? How come it's not better in Los Angeles right now? You already have your model. Yeah, there's some, red conservative people dotting around the area, but you already have your business model. You don't even have to divorce. Just please stay in Portland, stay in Seattle, stay in Los Angeles, stay in Chicago, and have your way with it. You don't need us. You never have to come here to Florida. You don't have to go to Texas. Just stay there. You already have it. It's already set up. So you don't even need your divorce. Go over there and just do whatever you need to do. And let us know how it is. And you don't even have to wait 25 years. Tell us next year.
This is why, anytime do a little exercise. Come up with some sort of social metric, right? And then see who does better on that, red states or blue states. And it's...
Hey, Fluffy, you know what social metric we live by down here in Florida? Our lifestyle. You know, they measure their social metric in, I don't know, Alabama, South Carolina, parts of Texas, Georgia, parts of Georgia. You know the metric we use? Can I go to the store without getting mugged? Some of us don't even lock our doors at night. Some of us kids can actually play out in the yard or in the street, and we don't have to worry about some weirdo coming by. Some of us have, pew-pews that take care of you nuts. What metric do you want us to know? What metric do you guys want to know before you live somewhere? Well, I know when we move someplace, one of the things we look at is, is there crime in the area? No. Okay. Well, how many police calls have been made in this certain, okay. Any Speedos nearby? Because by the way, you can find out how many Speedos are in a circumference of the area. Good. There's a good metric. No Speedos. Grocery stores nearby, delivery services, doctors, hospitals, businesses, retail, malls, all the stuff they don't have in these downtown areas and blue areas. Those are the metrics we use. I don't know what the hell he's talking about.
A fun game, because you ain't going to find the red states leading in shit. Okay, I mean, like, quite literally. Anything you can come up with, they're failing. I mean, even...
This is what's going on with the left. They have enough of these podcasters and some people on the right who tell them this stuff so they believe it. Oh, all the red states are failing. Come on, bro. You come down here to South Florida. When nobody's looking at the podcast, you turn off the microphone and the lights, and you're down at Cheetah watching, getting the dance and everything else. Matter of fact, now you might be at bongos, ramrods. You might not be with cheetahs, because you swing a certain way. But that's okay. You still come down here and have your, little umbrella drinks, and you sip and watch ramrod dance, but you can do it because you don't want other people to know. Like AOC came down here. Ooh, it's fun down here. It's crazy. We can do all kinds of stuff down here. Every metric, the red states are failing. That's what he just said. So I don't know who he is or how big his audience is, but he just told everybody that listens to his spewing garbage that by every metric, the red states are failing. His words, not mine.
Like, the blue states are massive net tax payers to the federal government. The red states are net tax receivers. And these are the people who whine and cry and bitch and moan and say, I don't want no parasites, no moochers taking my fucking tax money, man. And it's like, well, the blue states are subsidizing all your bitch asses.
Don't.
They really believe that. They really believe that California, Portland, and all these cities where nobody's freaking working is subsidizing other stuff that we can't do it our own. We're down here. We're getting ready to stop collecting property tax because we don't need it. In any event, this was again today. Let's go into the next nut, because you would think today, after the war is going on and we're getting Iran situated, that they'd have something they want to offer the American people, that there'd be something of substance that they should be talking about, not just reparations for Black people, not, some social metric. Perhaps this Congresswoman has something that really matters to the American people.
Drink raw milk. And the FDA's website says raw milk, unpasteurized milk, can harbor dangerous germs that can pose serious health risks to you and your family. You have your own personal views about raw milk. They cannot be part of a health protocol that they use.
I don't know. I got a couple clips to show you. RFK Jr. was at a hearing today, and he just rolled his eyes a couple times, and you'll see it. And you just have to wonder, he must have been thinking in his mind, am I really sitting here with these nuts? Am I really getting questioned by these asshats? By this woman from Connecticut who's been there like forever, who dyes her hair blue because it's probably falling out the wig, so I don't know, who now is questioning RFK Jr. about drinking raw milk. We just went through 6 weeks of blowing stuff up, and your question is about raw milk.
Raw milk is not regulated by the federal government. Congresswoman Delora.
Unpasteurized milk.
Yeah, it's regulated by the states. It's not regulated by us.
You are the Secretary of Health and Human Services. Is there not some moral responsibility or compunction to say, don't drink raw milk?
I know you probably haven't seen this today, and you're probably thinking to yourself, this is a congressman? This is what she wants to argue about today? Yep. Can you do something about the raw milk? Is there nothing else you want to talk about? Any infectious diseases? I don't know, HIV. Let's see what else is under your auspices. I don't know, bad fingernails? Anything? No, we're going to talk about raw milk. Okay.
Don't do that. If I were the head of HHS, I would, by God, say, don't take raw milk. It is dangerous to your health. And if
looking at you, I think every single one of us, liberals included, can pray and thank God that you are not the director or secretary of HHS. I think we all feel and sleep a little bit comfortable knowing you are not in charge of health.
you can't say that, well, maybe there's some other conclusions that can be drawn. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Senator.
What conclusions? Man. All right. So I want to talk to you about this woman who might be one of the craziest now in Congress. And it's, I call her PayPal, whatever her name is. So her and Elizabeth Warren today, after the 15th of the month of April just happened, just after that, just like Mondami, on cue, here we go.
Elizabeth Warren and I have introduced the Ultra Millionaire Tax Act. It's a simple bill. It says if your household has a net worth between $50 million and $1 billion, you pay just 2 cents on every dollar. So all of you who are worried because you have $50 billion or $49 million of wealth, you get your first $49 million free and clear. It's only when...
What gives the government the right to tell me what I get? See, I don't have $50 million, but I also know this is always going to be their starting number. Oh, we're going to take some from you. That's why I care. I don't have 50 million. I'm not a billionaire. I'm not a trillionaire. But I know this is just what they put out there to start with. How much can we take from you? Now, what I find very interesting in all of this is that they want to take money from people. And listen what she says.
You get to 50 million that you pay 2 cents. And if you have a net worth over $1 billion, then you pay just 3 cents. Sounds pretty reasonable. And guess what? It only affects 0.15% of all the households in America. Well, that tiny tax on a tiny number of people brings in huge revenue.
It's not revenue. It's tax. Just call it what it is. You're taking money from people. But the next part, which she says, is even worse because libtards somehow have twisted this.
Over $6.2 trillion over the next decade. And with that revenue, we could invest in real people. We could invest in China.
How do you take somebody else's money and invest? You're not investing in anybody. There is no investment. That needs to be understood because if there's an investment, then there's a measurable return. If there's no measurable return, it's a loss. But they're okay with that because then all they would do is take more. They don't have losses. They run on deficits. They don't care. Oh, it didn't work. Let's just take some more. You can't do that with your investments. You go ahead and invest in, I don't know, whatever, and it doesn't work. It's zero. You don't have it anymore. You got worthless certificates of stock. It's gone. Their investments, as they call them, are just, let's see what we can spend to see what happens, and then we'll just take some more if we need it.
Childcare, in healthcare, in education, in transitioning to renewable energy. And
we just had a war. We're still in one. And these idiots are still talking about renewable energy, the more green stuff. Literally, on the day all of this is getting announced, she's talking about let's invest in renewable energy. And talk about let's invest in education. How much do you need? How come Johnny can't read in Baltimore? How come these kids are all still failing when there's been so much investment over and over and over, so much investment into education? And then the next thing is, please explain to me the definition. I'm not going to say fair share. I'm not going to say working class. Now define what affordable housing is. And how do you expect to effect that? Nobody asks these questions. They just vomit out these talking points.
Affordable housing, the fundamental investments that help benefit working people and poor people so that they can thrive, not just barely survive. So taxing the rich so that they pay their fair share is not just the right thing to do. It allows us to actually invest in the majority of Americans. And
you have to ask yourself, it allows us to invest in the majority of Americans. So what you're saying is the majority of Americans are broke ass. That's what she said. Because the other people, the so-called working class, they're out there working. So there's no reason to invest in the poor, because when you invest in poor, and I'm sorry, what's the return? We've seen it all many, many, many times. This was today, after tax just got paid, after people just got returns, as they're going to be getting continued returns, they're out there saying, we need to steal more money from you. And it's time for the boss. So let's go ahead and cut to this.
Welcome. Look at this crowd. Love you guys. Thank you. Over the past 7 months, I have seen the worst of humanity, but I've also seen the best of it. And it's reminded me that every day when you wake up, you have a choice to spend your days focused on what's broken, or you can recognize our freedoms and fight to protect them. As Americans, we are all privileged to live in the greatest country in the world. Is it perfect? No, it's not. Do we have problems to solve? Of course. Of course we do. But our country is the best that we have. And I do not want to lose it. If you look around the world right now, Europe has surrendered itself to third world criminals, and under the Biden administration, we were on track for that for ourselves. But President Trump came in and course corrected. In countries like Nigeria, radical Islamists are murdering Christians for their faith. In Canada, they'll tell you you're better off getting medically assisted suicide than believing in the sanctity of life. While in America, we understand that a free life is worth living. But there is nowhere else on earth like the United States of America. There is not. And with this powerful combination of freedom, the ability to live your life with your faith openly, and the chance to build a life, nowhere else like it. And nowhere else I would want to be, and I'm sure you guys feel the same exact way. But that didn't just happen by accident. It happened because generations have fought and sacrificed everything for it. And because all of us, as a united front, said enough is enough and showed up to vote for President Trump in 2024. Amazing. We said enough was enough. And I'll never forget after that election. I know none of you will either. Charlie's sitting there. He was going through the numbers. He was going through the maps. He was looking at all of the data points. And he said to us, he goes, "This is it." He said, "The red wall." He said, "If you can secure Arizona, Nevada, and New Hampshire, and you're investing into these states and not just into these races," he said, "their maps will collapse and their strategies will fail." And it inspired us to no end. Totally inspired us. But we don't get to just sit back and admire that win from 2024. We have to fight to protect it. Every day, that's right. Every day. And Arizona is home for me. I was raised here. I fell in love here. I got married here. We're raising our children here. And we're not going to sit back and just watch this state or this country be completely torn apart. Completely torn apart. We're not going to watch that because they want this state. They want this state, and Turning Point Action will fight to defend it. And I refuse to let California become Arizona. Not happening. Not happening. We don't want Arizona to elect people like Eric Swalwell. No, we don't. No, we won't. But I will say, unfortunately, we do have his best friend, Ruben Gallego, here, so we have some work to do. We have some work to do. But seriously, though, I do not want a country to look like the protesters outside who are celebrating the murder of my husband. I do not want a country like that. So let's not forget how quickly things can go in the wrong direction. We just lived through 4 years of corruption dressed up as compassion. 4 years of that. You remember when we had Christian pro-life activists being persecuted for their beliefs? Remember when concerned parents were getting targeted by federal law enforcement just for showing up at their school board meetings? Remember Lake and Riley? I do. Remember wide open borders? 500,000 people poured into this state alone, thanks to an administration that didn't care about stopping them. And now, 452 days into the Trump administration, look at what has already been done. Look at it. There are accomplishments. And yes, there is more to be done, but my husband and all of you fought for this, and we achieved it. Thanks. And now we have to show up again with 80 to 90% voter turnout in the midterms and fortify the red wall for the next decade. That's what we need to do. But at the same time, you have people out there who are actively trying to tear this country apart. They love to start fights, dividing us all against each other, spreading negativity, all to get clicks and influence the algorithm to maximize profits. Meanwhile, building is hard. Getting out the vote, talking to real people, spiritual revival, that's actual work. That is actual work. And my husband, Charlie, gave his life for that work. And what gets built lasts for generations long after the noise has run out of one-liners. No one understands this better than President Trump. No one. No matter what they throw at him, he perseveres in the face of adversity because the mission is too important. Because this country is worth fighting for, and he is not alone in this fight. And we are blessed to be Americans, and we are going to fight like it. And ladies and gentlemen, there is no one else I'd rather have on our side than President Donald J. Trump. God bless you guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am officially running for President of the United States, and we are going to make our country great again.
Donald Trump swept all 7 swing states. 6 of them flipped from Joe Biden's column in 2020. More than 80% of all the nation's counties moved toward the right. The shift is decisive and leaves Democrats arguing over how they misread the people.
They tried to kick him off the ballot in 50 states. He stopped them. They tried to impoverish him. They tried to break him financially. They tried to lock him up in jail. He beat them. They said he couldn't possibly win the White House again. It had only been done once in history. He won. I raised my right arm and started shouting, "Fight, fight, fight." 12 months ago, Joe Biden handed us a mess. Just after 1 year of President Trump, our economy is booming, incomes are rising, investment is soaring, inflation has been defeated. Our economy is roaring, our workers are thriving, our border is closed, and America is respected all over the world. Our spirit is restored. He wants to make the country safer and more prosperous than it's ever been before. As he continues to do that, we will not only win the midterm elections, but we will elect a Republican to succeed him. We should win in a landslide, and we'll do everything we can to do it. Together with all of you, we will make America great again.
Ladies and gentlemen, now welcome to the stage the 45th and 47th President of the United States of America, Donald J. Trump.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. That's fantastic. Well, I want to thank all those seniors, but I want to thank all the young people. I've never seen so many young people in my life. And I want to say a special hello to Phoenix. We had a big win in Phoenix and a big win in Arizona and a big win all over the country. I'm thrilled to be back in the great state of Arizona with the hardworking, God-fearing patriots of Turning Point Action and Turning Point USA.
7 months ago, our country lost a fearless warrior, my friend, for freedom, and he was just an amazing man. He was an amazing person. Charlie Kirk, just an amazing guy. Charlie was murdered by a cruel and vicious assassin who believed that by silencing his voice, he could kill an entire giant movement. But standing here today, it's clear to see that Charlie's voice is not silenced, it's roaring and roaring back, louder, frankly, than ever before. His message is unstoppable, his mission is totally unstoppable, and his movement is forget it. It's not going to happen any other way but success. It's amazing what he's done. He was such a great friend of mine. We talked all the time. We'd speak all the time. We talked about politics. We talked about God. We talked about everything you can talk about. He was a special person. And I want to just thank Erica. She was put into a rough situation. Don't kid yourself. That's a rough situation. Those people think it's easy. I told her, not so easy, Erica. But she loved that man more than anything else, and she's done a really terrific job. I want to thank her on behalf of all of us. Because together we're making America great again, and this November, we've got to win the midterms. We're going to win, and we're going to win like never before. For some reason, even if you have a great presidency, if you haven't, I don't think there's been one like this. And we have some good news I'll tell you about a little. Would anybody like to hear about Iran a little bit? You know, this was scheduled a long time ago, and I said, let's not do any media for a little while. Here I am. This is sort of interesting. They're all waiting. Look at all the fake news back there. It's unbelievable. And we could fill this place up 4 times. Would anybody like to give up your seat? Allow somebody to... But it's really been an incredible period of time, and I'll tell you about it. But in 2024, Turning Point's grassroots army helped us win Arizona in an absolute landslide. We won this one. We won all 7 swing states. We won the Electoral College 312 to 226. We won the popular vote by millions of votes, and we won, and that's the first time in decades that a Republican, I don't know what that's all about, won the popular vote, but we won by a lot, and we won 86% of all counties. Now think of that. Counties, to me, that's the biggest of all, most important of all. 86% of all counties in America, 2,700 to 525. That's called a landslide. And I want to thank everybody at Turning Point Action who's working tirelessly to help us get out the vote this November 3rd. And I especially want to thank all of the executives and Erica Kirk in particular. Thank you. This will be a great and brilliant day for the world because Iran has just announced that the Strait of Hormuz is fully open and ready for business and full passage. But the naval blockade, with the greatest navy in the world, from the greatest military the world has ever seen, we built it during my first term. We built it. They said I was crazy. We weren't so crazy, were we? Will remain in full force and effect as it pertains to Iran until such time as our transaction with Iran is 100% complete and fully signed. And this process, we're getting along well, but who knows with anyone, but who knows with Iran in particular. This process should go very quickly, and that most of the points are already negotiated and agreed to. You'll be very happy. The USA will get all nuclear dust. You know what the nuclear dust is? That was that white powdery substance created by our B-2 bombers, those great B-2 bombers, late one evening. 7 months ago. No money will exchange hands in any way, shape, or form. Iran will be, and you know how we're going to get the dust, right? Iran, we were going to take it anyway. But taking it that way is slightly more dangerous. but we were going to get it anyway. But Iran, with the help of the USA, has removed or is removing all of the sea mines. And most importantly, it never agreed, and you'll understand, they will never have a nuclear weapon. They will never have a nuclear weapon. And somebody said, how are we going to get the nuclear dust? We're going to get it by going in with Iran, with lots of excavators, because the B-2s, remember when fake news CNN said, well, maybe obliteration is too strong a word, obliteration. That's so deep. We need the biggest excavators you can imagine, but we're going to go in together with Iran, we're going to get it, and we're going to take it back home to the USA. Very simple. And now that the Hormuz Strait situation is almost over, I received a call from NATO asking if we would like some help. Thank you very much, NATO. And I told them I would have liked your help 2 months ago, but now I really don't want your help anymore. Because they were absolutely useless when we needed them. But actually, we never needed them. They needed us. They need us. They need us so badly. You know, it's a little bit like if you're a politician. It's hard to believe I'm a politician, but after I won, people came up to me, sir, I'd like to make a major contribution to your campaign. And I said, listen, just so you understand, campaign contributions after I won don't count. Okay, they don't count. And NATO, after we won, that doesn't count either. It's the same thing. But you have to remember that because we spend hundreds of billions of dollars a year. We spend money. We spend, I would say, in many cases, close to $1 trillion over a couple of years. $1 trillion to help them. And we're always helping them. And this was just a military excursion. This isn't the big time. You know, we built a military so great. I'm so proud of it. It's one of the, including Space Force. You know, you see all of that. When you see those rockets go one, look up there, there's Space Force. We all created Space Force. It didn't exist. We were losing to China and to Russia in space, and now we're so far ahead of them both, you wouldn't believe it. But yesterday, on top of it all, we achieved what everyone said was impossible, an unprecedented ceasefire between Israel and Lebanon, and that hasn't taken place in 78 years. 78 years. Our deal with Iran is not in any way tied to Lebanon, but we will make Lebanon great again. I mean, it's about time we did so. We've sort of, the world has forgotten them, and they're good people who have lived like hell for a long period of time, and hopefully the situation with Hezbollah will get straightened out quickly. But I want to thank the country of Pakistan and its great prime minister and its great, great field marshal. He's our great field marshal. Two fantastic people for helping. They really are terrific people. And I also want to thank Saudi Arabia, Qatar, UAE, Bahrain, Kuwait. They've been amazing. They've all helped tremendously, tremendously. And it took courage for them. Not easy, not easy. They were living with what they call the bully of the Middle East. They had the bully. Iran was the bully of the Middle East. They're not the bully anymore. With the help of everyone here today, this has been by far the most successful first year of any administration in the history of our country, acknowledged by everybody. To begin with, I ended 8 wars. And it may be a little early to say this, but if we add Iran and Lebanon, that will be 10 wars ended and many, many millions of lives saved. Think of how many lives we've saved. Starting on day one, we ended the illegal invasion of America. That's an invasion by criminals, many, many criminals, murderers, drug dealers, prisoners. They emptied out their prisons into our country. And we took the most dangerous, unsafe, violent, and open border and created the most secure border in U.S. history, one of the most secure borders anywhere in the world, with 0 illegal aliens coming into our country in the past 11 months. 0. And in 2025, we achieved the largest drop in violent crime ever recorded. That's despite all of these people that came into our country. Many of them are now gone, I'm pleased to tell you. The murder rate, isn't it a terrible thing to be talking about murder rate? But you got to say it. At least if it's good news. I guess it's good news. But the murder rate reached the lowest level in over 125 years. 1900. The year 1900, before my father was born. My father was great. Before he was born, the flow of deadly fentanyl pouring across our border is down by an astounding 59%. And as you probably noticed, if you watch the news, illegal drugs coming in by ocean or sea are down by 97%. 97. And we're trying to find out who the 3% is, because I consider them to be perhaps the bravest people anywhere in the world. Boom. Or they don't watch television or something. We passed the largest tax cuts in American history, the largest spending cuts in American history, the largest regulation cuts in American history, and the largest investment in border security in the history of our country. And starting my first day in office, we banned the transgender mutilization of our children. And we made it the official policy of the United States of America that there are only 2 genders, male and female. That was easy. Could you imagine if I was up here 20 years ago or 15 years ago, probably 12 years ago, and I said, there are only 2 genders, male and female. People would say, what the hell is he saying that for? Is he crazy? That's got to be the worst speech I've ever heard. Why is he saying that? Or why is he saying that we got men out of women's sports? Can you imagine saying that 15 years ago? 15 years ago, if you said, and we got men out of women's sports, the audience would say, what's wrong with that guy? That's the craziest thing I've ever heard. And we got critical race theory out of our schools. And we abolished DEI across the entire federal government. And we eliminated so-called affirmative action in federal contracting and university admissions. If you get great marks and have great scores, and your boards are good, everything's good, you're getting in. People can't go before. We have a country now that, again, is based on merit. That's the way we became great. But we have to win the midterms, and all of these things, it'll stay with us forever. But if we don't win the midterms, I said it during my State of the Union speech when I interviewed and talked to some people backstage. I said, you know, I'd like to have some of these people called out for their greatness. And we gave out, as you know, that night, the Congressional Medal of Honor to a young man who was flying a helicopter with practically his legs shot off. And he landed in Venezuela perfectly with a lot of men on board, like 48. And if that goes down, the Venezuela incredible attack, nobody killed. Hundreds of millions of barrels of oil taken out. The relationship with Venezuela is great. We're working. It's like a great partnership. But if that doesn't happen, we looked at the Democrats. Not one was clapping. Medal of Honor. Then we interviewed a mother, a beautiful mother, whose daughter was slashed from behind by a maniac. She could hardly stand. It was 8 months ago. She could hardly stand, crying uncontrollably. Not one Democrat was clapping.
Then we introduced a war hero from 100 years. He was 101 years old. Gave him the Congressional Medal of Honor for his great heroics. Wasn't recognized until I came along. Not one Democrat clapped. Not one Democrat clapped. And now they don't want to pay our border security, and they don't want to pay our great patriots of ICE. You know, ICE is a tough job. You got those murders that they allowed into our country. Think of it. Thousands of murders came into our country. 11,888, 50% of whom killed more than one person. These are violent criminals, and ICE is tough. And I don't want that job, and most of you don't either. I have a couple of friends in the front row, and they're tough people, but they're not that tough. They don't want that job. And if we don't have ICE, and if we don't have our great Border Patrol, and if we don't have our great policemen, and all of these people, they're incredible. They keep our country great. They keep our country safe. And the Democrats want to defund them. They want to defund ICE. They want ICE terminated. And you know, whether you're liberal, conservative, doesn't matter. Democrat, Republican, Independent, it's crazy. And I looked at them as we went through about 7 moments when you had to clap, and they didn't. I said, these people are crazy. They're crazy. And you know, I don't know if you noticed, the word was passed to them from people that were watching, I guess, on television, maybe standing backstage. They said, this guy is killing you. Start clapping. And the last half hour, they were clapping for everything I said. They were clapping for everything, things they shouldn't have been clapping for, because they heard they were getting killed. Just remember that night. That night was a very telling night. And we don't want to go back to that. We don't want open borders where millions of people pour into our country. We want to have safe borders. We want people coming into our country, but they want to come in, and we have to have them come in legally. Very simple. So I signed a historic executive order starting the process of shutting down the Federal Department of Education and sending education back to the states. Thank you, Linda McMahon. Linda McMahon. You know, education, move back to the states where it should be. You don't want to have a bureaucrat from Washington who couldn't care less about your community telling you how to educate your child. You have your local boards and your parent groups. One thing, I know you love your children. I'm not sure that they do. But we've largely removed education. We just did it. Just move them back. You know, we're supposed to go through a long process. Thank you, by the way, to Linda McMahon. She's been fantastic. Been fantastic. And we removed over 300,000 bureaucrats from federal payrolls. They had sometimes 10, 11, 12 people to do one job, and they just sit there. And you know what? I have a lot of respect for whatever. But you can't run a country like that. You can't, as the expression goes, has anyone ever heard of it? Make America great again? You can't make America great again when you do that. So we've done that, and you know, many of those people are very happy, because right now more people are working in the United States than at any time in the history of our country. And many of those people that had these boring, lousy jobs where they weren't even jobs. Federal government, they went out, they got jobs in the private sector, because we have the most people working that we've ever had before, and they're making more money and enjoying their job. It's sort of an amazing phenomenon. After decades of other countries stealing our jobs and plundering our wealth, thanks to our strong policy on tariffs, we cut our gaping trade deficit. Now, if you do 1%, you're considered like a genius. If you do 2 or 3%, it's unheard of. We cut it by 59% this year, our trade gap. It's the largest drop of a trade gap. Think of it. It's the largest drop in history, the history of our country. 59%. Can you believe it? So if you're a genius with 1%, and really a super genius at 3, what are you with 59? I don't know.
As part of our tax cuts, we delivered, a lot of you benefited by this, no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security for our great seniors. You know, the great big beautiful bill is really the great big beautiful tax cut bill, but it was also, we gave you the right to deduct your interest payments on a car loan, but only if it's made in the USA. That's been incredible. You never had that right before. And this week, millions of Americans received the largest tax refunds of their lives. The average is more than $4,000 per filer. Think of that. So nobody knew this was going to happen, but now they're getting their refunds back, and they're much larger than I said. In other words, I under-exaggerated, which is good. And in 4 long years, Sleepy Joe Biden, have you heard of him? What a president, what a disaster. But the whole party, it was the party. He didn't run the country. The people surrounding the Resolute desk in the Oval Office, they ran the party. Radical left lunatics. But in 4 long years, Sleepy Joe Biden got less than $1 trillion invested in our country, much less. And in 12 months, so think of it, 4 years, ours is 12 months, and it's actually 11 because we haven't gotten the last month. So in 11 months versus, think of that, versus 4 years, they did less than $1 trillion. In 11 months, we did $18 trillion of new investments coming into our country. And that's a record for any country anywhere in the world by a lot. And the king of Saudi Arabia told me, when I was in Saudi Arabia, they invested $2 trillion in our country. But he looked at me, he said, you know, Mr. President, a short time ago, we viewed the United States as a dead country. We thought it was dead. And now you have the hottest country anywhere in the world. And he's right, the hottest country anywhere in the world. For years before I took office, people thought that America was in decline, that our best days were in the past, and that the sun was setting on American power. But no one thinks that anymore, because we are indeed the strongest, the hottest, the best country anywhere in the world. And you know what? Nobody laughs at us anymore. They were laughing. They thought we were a laughing mess. Under this administration, America is on the march, and America is on the rise like we haven't seen maybe ever before. We are respected again as a country, and we're respected at levels that nobody thought possible. Unlike past leaders, this administration does not apologize for American power. We are not ashamed of American might, and we do not hesitate to defend the American people, which is what we've been doing for the last 2 months, because Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. It's very simple. For years, we were ruled by fools who let every third-rate country push us around and bleed us dry on trade and everything else they could get away with. They took advantage of us on trade, not any more than that. But those days are over, and they're gone forever. America was not founded by weak and timid men who cowered in the face of evil or sat by as danger loomed and let our country go to hell. We are descended from the likes of George Washington, Andrew Jackson, Generals Ulysses S. Grant, Douglas MacArthur, General George Patton. Our ancestors knew exactly what to do with America's enemies. Beat them, and beat them good. That's what they had to do. That's what they had to do. And if NATO teaches us any one thing, and I hope you all watched, because they weren't there for us, if it teaches us any one thing, we have to rely on ourselves. We can't rely on outside countries and outside sources. So do not listen to the craven and cowardly voices who tell you America needs to think small or to shrink from our duties or potential. Most people, they wanted to, you know, this recent situation, they wanted to do it, but they said, oh, let's not get involved. Sometimes you have to get involved. You have no choice but to get involved.
If you're going to remain great, sometimes you have to get involved. Remember, I'm the peacemaker. I'm the one that settled 8 wars. I settled a war that would have killed 30 to 50 million people. India, Pakistan. You have to sometimes get involved. We are the inheritors of the most incredible civilization that has ever existed, and our task is to defend it. We have to defend it. Past leaders used our wealth and power to make other countries rich and treated our military like a charity for the world while getting barely a word of thanks in return. Nobody thanks us. They don't say, oh, thank you so much. They don't thank us. They think we're stupid. That's really what it is. They don't thank us. Now, we're using American strength to advance American interests for American citizens and to ensure that we remain the most dominant country on the face of the earth, which we're doing at levels that nobody can believe, actually. Every branch of our armed forces is setting new recruitment records that nobody thought would be possible because everyone wants to be a part of the greatest military the world has ever seen. In January, our warriors flew straight into the heart of the Venezuelan capital, captured the outlaw dictator Nicolas Maduro, and brought him to face American justice, which is what he's doing right now. And very soon, this great strength will also bring about a day, 70 years in waiting. It's called A New Dawn for Cuba. We're going to help them out with Cuba. We have a lot of great Cuban Americans. Not too many people in this audience, I don't think, but you go to Miami, we have people, Cuban Americans, people that were brutally treated, whose families were killed and brutalized. And now, watch what happens. Under this governing philosophy, instead of locking down our energy resources and putting ourselves at the mercy of those that hate us, and they hate us, and they don't respect us, but they do now, we are unleashing our own supplies with those really beautiful words. Perhaps you've heard them before. Drill, baby, drill, right? And because of that, we now produce more oil than Russia and Saudi Arabia combined, and very soon that number will more than double. That's pretty good. In addition, our new partner, Venezuela. Venezuela's been great, really doing a good job over there, is adding very substantially to that number. Likewise, instead of using our wealth to throw open our borders and feed, house, clothe, and police the entire world, we're restoring the principle that America's immigration policies must serve the best interests of America and its great citizens. It's called America First. It's very simple, America First. And we'll help other countries, but we have to view it as America First. Otherwise, we're not going to have a country left. At this moment, Democrats have shut down the Department of Homeland Security to shield the world's most heinous and violent criminals from deportation. They want to keep them in our country. They have a murderer, killed many people. They want to keep him in our country. They're fighting very hard to keep him here. There's something, I'm telling you, there's something wrong with these people. They want to protect deranged monsters like the illegal alien from Haiti who recently beat a mother of 2 to death with a hammer at a Florida gas station for all to see. It was all on tape. You saw it just a week ago. Last month, a migrant criminal with 15 prior charges and 4 prior deportations threw an 83-year-old veteran onto the subway tracks in New York City, killing him instantly as he got run over by a subway train. Threw him in. It's all on tape. Democrats want to protect him. They want to protect criminal aliens. Republicans want to put them in jail or ideally deport them as long as they never come back. And under my leadership, we ended asylum fraud. We ended all catch and release. We stopped third world migration. We suspended all refugee resettlement except for persecuted South Africans. They're being persecuted.
In South Africa, there's a very horrible thing going on in South Africa. It's a genocide. It's a horrible thing. And we made it possible for these people to come into our country. They kill people if they're white, if you're a white person. And I'll tell you what, I did great with the black vote, the African American vote, and they understand this better than anybody. South Africa, they kill white farmers. And we said, you come into our country and we let you come in. You get a green card and you get a passport. You can stay in our country. Terrible, terrible. We can't let it go on. No, we don't have to talk about it. People don't like talking about it. You know, New York Times wrote a story about it years ago. That was the only story they ever wrote, because I'm sure the reporter got fired immediately. But we've deported a record number of criminal aliens, a record. Nobody's ever seen the numbers like this. And for the first time in more than 50 years, we now have reverse migration, a beautiful thing, actually. And just imagine where our country would be today if instead of spending trillions of dollars on illegal migrants who come into our country illegally and spending it on the Green New Scam, one of the greatest scams in history, remember? Climate change, global warming, all of this. They actually had global warming, remember, that wasn't working because we were actually cooling as a planet. Then they had another one and another one and another one, and they were wrong. And then they just said, climate change, because climate change takes care of heat, snow, whatever you have. But past leaders had used American wealth and power to raise our civilization to brand new heights. This is the choice for every voter. In the midterms, Democrats want to drag America down, destroy our country, put it into crime, poverty, and squalor. Really the squalor of a third world nation. We would have been, if I didn't win this election, within a short period of time, we would have been a third world nation. Hard to believe, isn't it, huh? Republicans want to build America up into a nation with no rivals in human history, to make your family safer and wealthier than ever before. We're making your family safe. We're making you safe. So if you want a poor and weak America, a country that's riddled with crime, death, disease, and nothing but problems, you should immediately vote Democrat. If you want a rich and strong and a country that you're going to be proud of, America, you must go out in the midterms and vote Republican. We need that. And I was going to say that when a president wins, Republican or Democrat, for some reason they lose the midterms often, most of the time. It doesn't make sense. Even if you have a president who's doing a good job, and I think I'm doing the best job of anybody, really I do. But when you add it all up, when you add it all up, nobody's done what we've done. But for some reason, a president, Republican, Democrat, the party does poorly in the midterms. It doesn't make sense. I'm still trying to figure it out. We'll go out, I think probably hire a couple of psychiatrists. What the hell is going on in your mind? How does that happen? Because it should be the opposite. We're doing well. We're doing our job. We're ending wars all over the place. By the way, with the exception of our little excursion, and wait till you see prices fall. Did you see oil is down today and prices are down today? But we inherited the highest prices in the history of our country. We inherited that. And then we worked on it, and what a job we've done, and we took inflation way down. We inherited the worst inflation in history, and what a job. But we had to put out that flame. We had to put out that horrible fire, really, that was taking place in Iran. We had to do it. Otherwise, you want to see a problem? Give them a nuclear weapon. They'd use it the first day. You want to see a problem? They would use it the first day. It's not going to happen. So we're thrilled to be joined today by many incredible Arizona leaders who will help achieve this victory, including candidates for Congress, a lot of great athletes running. I don't know what this is. Jay Feely, great kicker, great athlete. Where's Jay? Jay Feely. Where's Jay? Wherever you are, Jay. Hi, Jay. Great athletes.
a sheriff who I've been friends with for a long time, Sheriff Mark Lamb. Sheriff. Good to see you, Sheriff. Got the look, right? I want to get one of those hats, Sheriff. Tell me where. Tell me where you got it. Wouldn't have to worry about my hair. I could just put that. I hear you're doing great in the polls, Sheriff, too. Representatives Juan Ciscomani, Paul Gosar, Abe Hamadeh, Eli Crane, and a really good friend of mine who's running for governor, who should win. He's great. Andy Biggs. Where's Andy? You better win, Andy. I hate to lose him from Congress. You want to know? You know, I'm sort of torn with Andy. I hate to lose him, but he'll be a great governor. Arizona GOP Chair Sergio Moreno. Sergio. Thank you, Sergio. Great job you're doing. Thank you. Thank you for all the help. Arizona Senate President Warren Peterson. Warren. Thank you, Warren. Thank you. Popular, Warren. Very popular. Treasurer Kimberly Yee. Thank you, Kimberly. Good job. State Representative Alex Collodin. Thank you. Thank you, Alex. Oh, look at this guy. Oh, I can't believe it. I love this guy. So popular. A man, he's probably in his 50s, early 50s. But he's been around a long time, much longer than that. He's a special person. There was no border problem when he was here. Sheriff Joe Arpaio. Where are you? Sheriff Joe. Where's Sheriff Joe? You know, he came out for me when I was running, and I heard about him. He was sort of a legendary guy. There were no border problems, right? We had no border problems, and he endorsed me right at the beginning, Joe, right long before you saw any of the politicians that were running against. It was 18 people running, and they said, you know, Sheriff Joe endorsed you. I said, you mean from Arizona? A legend? Yeah, he endorsed you before I even started, practically. Thank you very much, Joe, and I've been with you all the way. Thank you. Appreciate it. Along with a special friend of mine and married to one of the greats, Rush Limbaugh, Catherine Limbaugh. Thank you, Catherine. She's a great woman. And a veteran Border Patrol agent who's been a fantastic friend of me and the campaign and all of the things, Art Del Cueto. Art, wherever you are, Art. And, you know, we have a lot of athletes, and I sort of think of myself, I'm sort of big. Sometimes in the wrong direction, maybe, but big. These guys are really big. Ryan Thompson of the Arizona Diamondbacks, who's a terrific player. We have a World Series champion. I met him today, and I said, you were a hell of a hitter, and really was a great player, and could be probably still a great player. Looks good. World Series champion, Mark Grace. Mark? What a good hitter. And what about this guy? World Series MVP. Remember the blood pouring out of his foot? It didn't bother him at all. That blood was pouring the hell out of his foot. I remember it. Curt Schilling. Curt. Thank you, Curt. Thank you. And they're all characters, too, aren't they? It's really amazing. We like characters. Hockey Hall of Famer and a great golfer, I can tell you that. He's really a good golfer, Jeremy Roenick. Jeremy. Thank you, Jeremy. Thank you, man. What a good golfer he is, too, but probably a little better at hockey, but, you know, he's supposed to be. NASCAR great,
Danica Patrick. Danica? Where's Danica? Where's Danica? I love Danica. I love her hair. I always liked her hair. I like the little widow's peak. You know what a widow's peak? Danica, where are you, Danica? So great. Thank you, darling. What a job you've done. What a job you did. Former NBA All-Star, Tom Chambers. Tom, there's a big guy. I didn't want my picture next to him. He stood up. I said, is that Tom Chambers? Yeah. I said, well, let's take it. I'll stand on this side of the room. Tom, stand up. What a job you've done. Great job, Tom. Everyone loves you, too. Arizona sports legend, John Gambadoro. John Gambadoro. Thank you, John. Gambo, good job. And a lot more. We have a lot of celebrities here, but with your help, we'll continue to deliver on our mandate from the American people like no president has ever delivered before. That's what we're doing. We have a mandate, you know. They said if we could win 3 or 4 of the swing states, that would be incredible. Because it's a little harder for a Republican for some reason. I'll tell you what the reason is: they cheat. That's actually the reason. They cheat like hell. Remember I got out, I said, make it too big to rig, right? Too big to rig. Don't believe the polls. The polls had us way up. Don't believe the polls. Too big to rig. We made it too big to rig. Just keep going. If no matter what you see, go out and vote. And we made it too big to rig. But they say if I won 3 or 4 of the swing states, that should do it. And we won all 7, right? All 7 of the swing states. As you remember, I recently directed the Secretary of War. How good is Pete Hegseth doing, by the way? To begin releasing government files relating to UFOs and unexplained aerial phenomena. And I figured this was a good crowd because I know you people, you're really into that. I don't know if I am, but so I'm pleased to report today. I thought I'd save it for this crowd because you're a little bit out there, you know, a little bit. That this process is well underway, and we found many very interesting documents, I must say. And the first releases will begin very, very soon, so you can go out and see if that phenomena is correct. You'll figure it out. Let me know. Let me know. But we've had a lot of questions. It's something that really captivates the mind. There's no question about it. With your support, we will crush violent crime, impose harsh new penalties for repeat offenders. I mean, we have people that have been taken in 28 times. We have some 28 times, and they let them go out 2 days later. Crack down on Marxist prosecutors and rogue judges. The judges are horrible. Add deadly sanctuary cities in our country and end no cash bail, which really started it all. No cash bail is a disaster. Somebody shoots somebody, they go in, they just let them out. Then they go shoot somebody else the same day. We will stop the radical left Democrats' rampant looting of your taxpayer dollars, and we will win the war on fraud, which is being headed by our great Vice President, J.D. Vance. We're going to win it. We're going to win it. I said, J.D., I want that job. I want that job. It's so bad. You look at Minnesota, you look at California, you look at some of these states, it's so bad. Maine, believe it or not, is terrible. Maine, who would think Maine so bad? But we're right on their ass. We're right on their ass. And we will pass the great health care plan. We call it the great health care plan, to stop all payments to big insurance companies and give the money. What we want to do is this. We want the insurance companies to be cut out. We want our government not to pay trillions of dollars to insurance companies, to pay that same amount of money directly to the people, directly, and you go out and buy your own health care. And everybody likes it. The problem is the Democrats don't like it because they're owned by the insurance companies. So they vote no, no. But we're going to get it done one way or the other. We will make most favored nation discounts on drug prices permanent law. So I got you drug reductions on prescription drugs, most favored nation. You know what that means? That means we pay the lowest of any nation in the world. When I got into office, we paid the highest of any nation in the world. I got the nations to agree because I threatened them with tariffs if they don't do it. And I got the insurance companies, I got the drug companies to do it. So your drug prices are going to be reduced by 60, 70, 80, and in some cases even more than 80%. Nobody has ever done that. And that alone should win us the midterm, but it won't, because nobody wants to write. The fake news doesn't want to write about it. It's unbelievable. With the help of our Secretary, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., we will make America healthy again. MAHA. Has anyone ever heard of MAHA? We will make America healthy again. He's doing a great job, Bobby. And Dr. Oz is doing a great job. Already we eliminated petroleum-based food dyes, reformed the vaccine schedule, and introduced the real food pyramid. We're cleaning up the whole mess. It's a mess. And to help young people afford a house, we will permanently ban Wall Street from buying up thousands and thousands of single-family homes and taking them off the plate. And we will pass the Save America Act to protect our sacred American election. Where all voters must show voter ID, little things like that. All voters must show proof of citizenship. How about that? Who would think? It's a 97% issue, and the Democrats are holding it back. 97. It's 87% with Republicans and Democrats, so even Democrats want it. But the politicians don't want it, Democrats, because when you have policy as bad as they have, like men playing in women's sports, transgender for everybody, open borders where people come in totally unvetted, just walk into our country, and criminals all over the world. When you have the only way you can win is to cheat. Really, I really believe that. So they don't want to have voter ID. They don't want to have proof of citizenship. But we'll get it. We're going to get it. And no mail-in ballots except for illness, disability, military, or travel. Mail-in ballots are a big fraud. It's a big fraud. The mail-in vote is a big fraud. And we will also add into permanent statutes a very simple thing called no men in women's sports. And no transgender mutilization surgery for your children. We're putting that in. We're putting that in because I call them best of. You know what best of? Best of Trump. Can you believe it? Best of Trump. Men can. Did you ever see the weightlifting records? For 18 years, the record stood, held by a young woman who was quite strong. It was like 212 pounds. That's a lot. It stood for 18 years. And then a young man decided to go the opposite route. And he wanted to become a young woman. And he transitioned. And he was a failed weightlifter in the men's division. But as a woman, he was brutal. And he broke the record. Remember, this is a record that stood for 18 years. They'd put an eighth of an ounce here, an eighth of an ounce here. For 18 years, they couldn't quite do it. He broke the record by 112 pounds. Or the swimming records, or the long distance running records. You could go short distance also. Did you see recently there was a long distance race? It went on forever. One of these triathlete type races that top men, top women. The man won by 5 hours, 18 minutes, and 57 seconds. In fact, he went home and took a nap before getting his award. He slept for exactly 5 hours. Then he got up and picked up his award. It's very demeaning to women. It's very unfair to women. But together we will defend our cherished American heritage. We will defeat America's enemies. We will unshackle our magnificent destiny. We will return American astronauts to the moon, and we will plant our flag someday soon on Mars. For almost 250 years, our nation has stood as an inspiration to humanity and proof of what American faith and courage can achieve. It's amazing what's happened, especially what's happened over the last year. Our ancestors won our independence, vanquished foreign armies, and conquered wild frontiers. They fought perilous battles crossed jagged mountains, and in the middle of empty deserts, they built gleaming cities like Phoenix, Arizona. Have you heard of it? Right from a desert, generations before us poured out their blood, sweat, and tears to make America into the most exceptional nation the world has ever known. And today we are making it more exceptional than ever thought possible, than ever before. With your support in these midterms, we will continue this momentum and achieve total and ultimate victory for America. We will fight, 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 and win, win, win. And together, we will make America powerful again. We will make America wealthy again. We will make America healthy again. We will make America strong again. We will make America proud again. We will make America safe again. And we will make America great again. Thank you very much, Arizona. Thank you. Thank you. Win those midterms. Thank you, everybody.
Back to Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
All right, so President Trump spoke for, it looks like right about 2 hours, covered a lot of stuff, seemed to be a lot more energized, seemed like he was much anticipating this stuff in Iran being finally over. Not sure what's going on. He's not coming down here to South Florida. He's heading right back to Washington, D.C. I found it interesting. He did a little bit of his dancing and then boom, right off stage. So they're probably going to get him on the airplane and heading back to Washington right now. He'll probably take some questions in the air. So I'll have that for tomorrow's show. And we can see what he had to say. If not, I don't think I'll be doing anything later on tonight, but definitely sometime tomorrow, probably about this time, 5-ish, 6-ish, I'll go live. But again, this one was more of the campaign style speeches, which I love. Maybe you guys know, and I think he needs to be out there even more talking about it, letting everybody know what to expect if these Democrats ever take power again. Can't let that happen. So let me check with SV, see if he's got anything before we go. You still there? There you are.
Yeah, I love the little ray of sunshine coming in. Let's check in with Gavin Newsom, see how he's doing. Let me see. Okay, this just came in. He is such a fraud that even his book sales are fake. Newsom's PAC used $1.5 million to buy 67,000 copies of his own book. He only sold 97,000 in total. Meanwhile, California has burned through at least $180 billion in fraud under his watch. Hospices, homelessness, high-speed rail. That doesn't even include voter fraud, his cheating scandal, accent changes, and claims of growing up poor. Everything about Newsom's life and governorship is a fraud.
You think somebody who does this when he talks to you?
He's lighting the loafers, that's for sure. I don't cross my legs like that. Trust me.
Oh my God.
No way. That is a little
just, the
weird.
hits just keep. I mean, I don't know if there's anything illegal about that. But I wonder if the people who donated to his campaign were like, yeah, go ahead and buy your own books. Oh, gosh. They cheated
That's so bad.
everything. I mean, literally, now it makes you wonder, okay, supposedly he's got a podcast. How much? My computer's over here restarting on me. You have to wonder with his podcast, how many of the views are actually real. You're paying bots, people from Pakistan to hit the button or something, because there's nothing that these people do that is real whatsoever.
Nothing organic, nothing.
No, nothing.
Yeah.
And I still have a lot more to show you guys in the libtard zone. I'll save the rest of that for tomorrow, because what happened with RFK Jr., it's absolutely hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. I do want to show you guys one thing. And this is from earlier when I had the Pramila PayPal or whatever her name is. You got to see how desperate, how truly desperate the libtards are right now. Check this out, SB.
We need to do whatever we can to get him out, impeach him, invoke the 25th Amendment, push for him to resign, whatever it is, because this is so grave of a situation. It is the top thing on my constituents' minds during our town halls. It is the question I get asked no matter what airport I'm in by everyone, because people understand not only is this illegal, not only is this a war crime, not only is this immoral, it is also taking all the attention away from and spending taxpayer dollars on this illegal war instead of on the real needs that people have right here at home, and putting our troops at serious, serious risk.
Anything we need to do. We need to do anything we can. I don't care if we impeach him. I don't care if it's 25th Amendment. We need to do anything we can to get him out of office.
TDS is strong in that one.
It's beyond TDS. It's pure desperation. I mean, it's crazy. So again, how do you tell the difference between someone who's winning versus someone who's losing? Well, you just saw President Trump on stage for 2 hours, big smile, energetic, and then you get that. Can we just we got to find a way to get rid of him? I'm sorry. I'm pretty confident that this is what's happening.
We're going to win so much, you may even get tired of winning. And you'll say, please, please, it's too much winning. We can't take it anymore. Mr. President, it's too much. And I'll say, no, it isn't. We have to keep winning. We have to win more. We're going to win more.
It's funny because I saw you had troll duty today, and there was a whole bunch of trolls in there.
Oh yeah.
But the reason why the trolls are coming out is because, again, they know they're losing. I have never, and I've never asked you, but I doubt you have either. Never, ever, ever have gone on Don Lemon's podcast. I've never would, and sit there and say stupid stuff about him, because I don't want to waste my time doing that. I can't even imagine how people waste. I know they're probably getting paid, but why would you waste your time knowing that at any point SV, Roaring Rage, or Beth is just poof, poof, and blow you off into the ether? So it doesn't make any sense.
I sent you a video prior to Trump going on live. It was the folks that were out in the street. They were protesting. They had signs upside down. They had, F Trump. I mean, get a job. Live life. Touch some grass.
Other than it's him, what exactly are you protesting? What is so bad? And I don't know if it's DEI or if it's the illegal. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make.
They were calling him Taco as usual. They're anything to just insult them. But the thing is, we continue to win. They continue to lose. It's just the way it is. And tomorrow I'm going to be out playing pickleball. So enjoying life.
We just need people to remember that. It's getting into the nice time of year. SV's going pickleball. Ashley's coming down. We're going to have some fun this week looking at some property. Just like you said, live life, man. Just get out there and understand prosperity is out there for you. All right, SV, thank you very much.
Have a great night, Barry.
Bye-bye. Excuse me. All right, let me do super chats and then we'll be on our way. And bada bing, bada boom. Chiosop, Iran used to negotiate endlessly to buy time and got 47 years. Enter master negotiator Trump. Now they can delay all they want because it's costing them. Keep the things closed. Gregory, Barry, we are winning in the Middle East. The strait is fully open. Exactly. Yeah, but I wouldn't say fully. I would say under President Trump's auspices, because the big boats are still there. Big Cat, Rally Day Patriots, thank you. Pekoski, cutting grass and pruning. Oh, it's spring cleaning time. Pekoski, golden age, boys and girls. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. The markets, I haven't checked what the markets ended up at, but you guys can do that. Ed Sloan, really digging that shirt. Oh, thank you. It's what's it say? Land of the free, home of the brave from Bearskin. Land of the free, home of the brave. Yep, home of the brave. That's where we are. That's where we are. Yeah. It was a bearskin when we were doing the hoodies. They gave me a couple of shirts, and I just love the way this one looks and feels. And I'm not even getting paid to say that. It just looks very well. All right, so let me continue. Pekovsky, don't know now. I like this shirt too. All right, see, they should be moving these shirts. Like, they should be doing stuff in the spring, because I mean, what the heck was that? Oh, wow, my phone, one of those Amber Alert things just went crazy. That's nuts. Yeah, they should be moving this stuff in the spring as well. Chiosop, the Pope can't condemn IRGC. Now, he would be a hypocrite. Yep, Chiosop, lying about Trump is soothing treatment for TDS. I just can't imagine living a life like that. That's why the Middle East gave him such a welcome. Saudi, Qatar, UAE. Yep, exactly. Macon, that Vietnam vet you referred was Sergeant Kelly, and the op was, what does that say? Was military massacre. Yeah, I've got the video here, so I'll probably show it tomorrow. I'll have to bleep out the bad words, but okay, Sergeant Kelly. Chiosop, I gave Devs my address to send me the refund. Overage. Yeah, don't hold your breath. Starfleet, through the Golden Bridge application, Trump is appearing to fulfill the Jeremiah 49 prophecy of distracting the king and officials of Iran through economic and military exhaustion rather than a single messy ground war. Bingo. Look that up. You'll see that. If you looked up exactly what that is, it's Sun Tzu Golden Bridge. Let's see here. What, did I skip one? No. Shire, Barry looking yoked like late Larry Allen from the Dallas Cowboys. I loved him, man. He would impose his will and dominate men. Oh, so big. Mr. Mike, watching Donald Trump is like watching movie law-abiding citizen, but the good guy and bad guy are reversed. He's awesome. You remember that movie, Law-Abiding Citizen? I forget the guy's name, Jamie Foxx, and the other guy, Gerard, I forget his last name. But yeah, it's biblical. Bringing a whole disease temple down on their heads. Absolutely. Let's see here. This is from Peter. An agreement with Iran in 4 quarters is worth $1. Exactly. Except we control it. That's where the difference is at this point. Lisa, I saw that Inquisition of RFK Jr. All I could think of was who's the ugly puppet from Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. Yeah, I got a whole bunch more clips to show you. I'll do that tomorrow. Crazy. Lisa again, what about no taxation without representation? Yep, agreed. Yeah, let's just take your money because you got it. Where did I go here? I missed up. Mr. Mike, live nuts like to invest in leeches. Lots of leeches. Exactly. Brad, Jama, you Democrats steal everything already. And you can tell how fast they pivoted right after tax day. Boom. We just need to take more of your money. Crazy. Boompa, hi Barry. We have been getting raw milk and farm fresh beef. I finally had a burger. God is exposing, and He is not done. Cures and all the lies. Yeah, why are they having a problem with if you want raw milk? Why do I need the government telling me what I should or shouldn't eat? Robin's doing which is like a light carnivore diet right now. I'm pretty much, trying to cut the carbs. Why should somebody else be telling us what we're going to be eating, especially if we're trying to get healthier? It doesn't make any sense. I've never had, I did taste raw milk on a farm, but I don't drink much milk anymore. Back when I was younger, I used to drink a lot of milk. Macon, the comms the left is putting out is for another shot in the dark. By any means necessary, she said. She said those words. We need to get him out by any means necessary. That's pure desperation and pretty scary. Hello, Captain Danny. Thank you. Neo, great way to end the week. It's an awesome time watching Trump. Love the winning, Dems losing. Thank you, Barry and team. Thank you very much. And Izzy Imp? Barry, I'm delayed at Palm Beach International on my way to Japan. Wow. I wish I was in Japan. I've never been to Japan. I always, Robin wants to travel. I've just never been to Japan. One of the reasons why I haven't gone over there, I just can't imagine, even in first class, being trapped on a plane for 13, 14 hours. I don't even know how long it takes to get, I just get claustrophobic. But in any event, some people, I hope you have a great time. Take some pictures. Let us know how it is. Would love to see them. All right, guys, I'll see you tomorrow. Hope you guys have a fantastic Friday evening and a great weekend as well. I know some of you guys in the Midwest are looking at some storms, so be careful out there. It's absolutely beautiful down here. Wish you were here, but be careful if you're in the storm, in the way of the storm. Talk to you guys tomorrow.
And allows them to live decent lives.
Courts stay decisions.
Bye.